Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to PSGL, the PC Championship. Back here again on your screens here on Thursday night. I hope you're all doing exceptionally well. It's a pleasure to have you all in the chat. I can already see we've got a few names here. Jordan Poland, Woot Various there, as well as Trap Formula. And of course, the big boss man himself, Big C Connor. Welcome, everybody. If you're here and watching anywhere around the world, please make yourselves known here on the broadcast. That's what the live chat's for. Hit us up there, and we'll look forward to some exquisite racing here tonight. We are here at Silverstone, Jack, the home, the Earl Grey of World Motorsport.
Earl Grey? I don't like Earl Grey, actually. I'm not a fan of Earl Grey. I think it's the worst tea known to man. Fight me on that one. But anyway, the greatest circuit on the calendar is arguably Silverstone. We're heading to it. Today, of course, iconic. It was the scene of the first ever F1 race in 1950 when it became the Formula One World Championship. So, yeah, looking forward to this one. Jarno Opmeer, of course, missing because he's busy with Formula E. Barry Bormand also missing as well. But we decided to get a good somebody else to join as well. We have the debut of none other than Frenchman Nicolas Longuet.
Yes, you heard him correctly, folks. Nicolas Longuet is here, and I can already see the comments flying through here. CRG Gamer, hello, CRG Sparks as well. But the story, like Jack correctly says, full-time driver now, Nicolas Longuet. He is in the Renault seat, replacing Sven Nolle here tonight, folks. Giorgio Gamielli, come on, Dylan. The Dylan Warren fans are out in their abundance yet again. We're looking forward to this. Ghana is apparently watching, Jack. We are live around the world, and we're going to be bringing some epic racing, certainly from this historical circuit. And I've got to say, we've got such a great list of talented names here on the track. Speed Barry in the chat as well, who's unfortunately not with us racing here tonight, but is once again watching the broadcast, and once again gives Philip Presnader a chance at taking the top spot here, Jack, considering the fact that he seemed to have missed his chance last week.
Yeah, he certainly did. If you look at the try, and he did manage to gain some kind of advantage, but this is kind of the real one where he needs to gain, and it could have been a lot more for Philip Presnader, but he'll be wanting to try and gain as many points as he can on Barry Bormand, of course, before he heads into the next round. So yeah, we were just waiting on one last driver. Actually, we were waiting on Alessia De Capo, who now is in the lobby. We're still just waiting in the lobby, folks. So we'll be getting underway in just a few moments' time. A few other replacements in as well. We have Valentin Bruffaert, otherwise known as Vasta Racer, is in with us tonight as well. And just checking through as well. There's a couple of others that we'll introduce to you over the course of the time. So Barry Bormand, obviously not here. Chana Kinchi filling in for him as well. But yeah, Vasta Racer, Valentin Bruffaert, he's got big shoes to fill because he's replacing Jarno Opmeer.
He is indeed very big shoes to fill. He is going to be driving the Mercedes here tonight, folks. Valentin Bruffaert is back in for tonight's race. It's going to be absolutely brilliant. We've got so many hench names here tonight. It's going to be absolutely brilliant. Of course, we're missing Jarno Opmeer and Speed Barry, but the fight is going to be on, and I cannot wait for this. Woot Various has got it straight. He's got it absolutely right. Should be quite an open fight for the win. Definitely, probably one of the most stiffest competitions we've had this season, despite the loss of Speed Barry and Jarno Opmeer here tonight. It's going to be absolutely brilliant. Of course, as well, we got to talk about Danny Moreno. Needs to pick up the pieces after a couple of very difficult performances. Results haven't gone his way due to a few technical issues, but he's got another chance here tonight, Jack.
Yeah, well, let's hope that Danny doesn't have any problems, because he's shown that he's so fast. I always come back to Hungary and that start he made in the wet, that making up 5-6 positions within turn 1. So Danny's got the pace. Let's just hope that he's actually able to get out and put a qualifying lap in this time, because he's been knocked out in Q1 in every race so far due to various technical problems with wheels and stuff like that. So let's hope that he manages to get in and do a lap as well, because Danny is certainly a contender for the win. But basically anyone could take it right now. The addition of Nicolas Longuet as well is going to be really something to watch as well. So plenty to keep your eye on out here. And we're going to see now if the classic British weather takes effect, because high chance of rain around here.
Well, we've had plenty this week, Jack. Absolutely plenty. And I've got to say, the wind has been blowing. You said you've had hail in Ireland. I'm not sure, but you haven't quite got Halo programmed into this game, I suppose, thank God. Otherwise, this is going to be an absolute nightmare. But I've got to say, we're looking forward to this. It's going to be absolutely brilliant, folks. So just about to wait for the cars to go out in for qualifying. The rain is falling, Jack. The rain is falling here in Q1. Your prediction was spot on.
What did I say? I mean, you can't rule it out, can you? It's Britain. And it's going to rain at some point. It's pretty much matching the weather that it is right now. I mean, it's just been pouring rain over the past couple of days. At least where I am, we're not too far apart, about 90 miles separating Ireland and the UK. So it's pretty similar across the board. But yes, it is raining. Not quite full wet conditions by the looks of it here. Intermediates are going to be on, so they actually are going to have to use the intermediates. Normally, we actually see the intermediates in the dry anyways on the first Q1 runs, but we're definitely going to be seeing them now. We're going to wait to see if that's going to clear up into Q2, Q3. So looking forward to this one now. Full grid as per usual. Some fantastic names out there. And looking likely that the first man is going to take to the track in these conditions, he's going to be figuring out the grip, is Flores Viers.
He will. Flores Viers will be coming out first, folks. And certainly getting this underway. We'll head over to the camera screens now. And as you can now see, there's Flores Viers now making his way out onto the track here at Silverstone. And they're strapping the intermediates on this time, not to try and test the water, should we say. Or in this case, they will be testing the water. They're actually going to be using these intermediate tyres for the correct purpose here, Jack.
Yeah, absolutely. Of course, if you're familiar with the kind of tactics, it's going to be usually you use the intermediates in the dry to save a set of dry tires for your Q1, Q2 runs. So this time they have to use a set of the intermediates anyways. But maybe we're going to wait to see if it clears up or not. We don't know if it's going to clear up at the end of Q1, at the end of Q2, but it certainly could be very interesting if it does clear up in the final few minutes of qualifying. So of course we have seen that before, the rain taking effect in Q2 and basically ending the session after about 3 minutes with one run from each driver. So we'll have to wait and see what happens here. But this track, it's good in the wet. It's just as good in the wet as it is in the dry. I think the drivers love it anyway.
Oh yeah, absolutely brilliant. I think they find it entertaining. I think just literally chucking the cars around. And as you can now see, Flores Viers now making his way up through the hangar straight. And the Aramco banners littered above as he makes his way around Stowe Corner. Of course, we've seen so many brilliant overtakes made around Stowe. It's very much a choice area for many drivers to sort of utilise their overtaking prowess, overtake their opponents, and get some fancy moves done. And I'm sure we'll see many alike as they make their way down towards the newly christened Lewis Hamilton Straight, as we're now seeing Flores Viers now about to take to the track. He'll be the first to cross the line, Jack. Now, what do we expect from Flores Viers? Of course, he's had a couple of difficult races. Things haven't gone to plan for him. A couple of early eliminations. Seems to struggle under the pressures of qualifying, but albeit a very stiff contender. Remember, he is Haas F1 Esports material.
Absolutely, he is part of that team as the third driver, so plenty of experience there for Flores. So he's just coming down now into Brooklands right now. You can see the BRDC building on the right hand side. Great place to go to have a look at the track if you're able to get inside or sneak in if you can possibly do that. Around Luffield then onto the old pit straight. Of course, this is where the Grand Prix used to start for a good chunk of Silverstone's life before it moved onto the new part of the circuit as well. Now into Copse Corner. This is iconic through here. Now it's going to be, that will be flat in the dry, but obviously nowhere near in the wet, and in through Maggots and Beckett's and Chapel. I mean, this is just a great section of circuit right here. Careful not to run off too much of the curb right there. You will pick up an invalidation. Get on the power as early as you can, fighting the car all the way through, and then down the hangar straight. Of course, Silverstone used to be an airfield, so of course the old hangar's on the right hand side there, and then into Stowe. Get it onto the brakes. Chucking it onto the curb. Careful not to run out too wide. A little bit of oversteer for Flores there. Had to fight it. And then into Club, which is the last section of the circuit right here. Runs maybe a tad wide. Gets it back together though. And into the last section. Round the last corner. It's a fast right. Got to pin it over the line right now. That's going to be the benchmark. 35.328. A quick point to point out as well that the stewards are going to be watching Copse and Stowe in particular, because running off the circuit in order to defend a position is deemed as illegal. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. Yeah, we'll have to keep our eyes peeled on that there, folks. There you can see Fabrizio Donoso just pipping Flores Viers at the top there, a good 6.5 tenths of a second, bettering that of the Haas driver right now. So P1 for Donoso. Kicking us off here at Silverstone. Obviously, ever brilliant racing here at this famous track, of course.
And certainly these long straights are going to be the subjects of many an overtake, and I cannot wait to commentate on these for you folks. Already Donoso goes purple in Sector 1 this time. You might fancy just sticking out there and just keep the car going. May as well. Purple in Sector 1, can go purple again in Sector 2 if he keeps the car together. Looking good for Donoso right now. Lewis Welch with an invalidation on his last lap as well. Valentin Brufair out on a lap 2, so hopefully we'll get to see what he can nail down. And currently we're also seeing Alessio Di Capua as well out in the Williams 2, and he's got plenty of pace. We've seen lots of battles involving this man Jack. Many occasions he's come out on top, and I think his racecraft, it has got better, I believe, every race we've covered.
Yeah, I was in Zandvoort, of course, last week. Alessio was very impressive, super clean, really good racing from him, and picking up that second spot, of course, passing Alvaro Caraton the dying few laps, of course, kept it clean, absolutely no warnings as well, so he is improving little by little, which is exactly what we want to see as Donoso coming through the last few corners. Now, Flores actually popped in front of him again, so here comes Donoso. Can he pip him again? There he goes, 34-0 for Donoso. So the track is going to get quicker. There is going to be, of course, track evolution as a result of the wet conditions. There is going to be a line that forms, so you want to be the last car across the line in Q1 to get the best track conditions that you possibly can. But there's Weigang into 4th, it's the 100th of a second behind. De Capua goes to 3rd, so all the time's flying in now, George. But to be honest, right now, Donoso's looking pretty good, pretty handy in these conditions. Yeah,
Carl Mitchell just set a time that's 1.2 seconds slower. And as I said that, Joe Hannon making his way across the line too. Chanakinchi is up there as well, 7/10 of a second, or nearly 8/10 of a second out, as Valentin Brufair nails a second place time, under a 10th of a second as well. Brilliant there from Valentin Brufair. Danny Moreno, who is here joining us in Q1. Obviously, he had difficulties joining the last few qualifying sessions, but no mistakes this time. He is in Q1 and sets himself a P5 time. Chanakinchi still in P7. Looking further down, you can see Julian Naumann up into P8. He's had a few difficult races, has already said that he's looking to improve on recent performances. It hasn't gone his way, and I know for a fact that he's very keen on trying to improve himself. He certainly has struggled in the last stages. Ruben Vallejo knocks himself up to P12 as Lewis Welch now makes his way up towards Stowe. After the hanging straight, managed to avoid the Ferrari there as Domenico Lavecce lands himself into P8, as we're now seeing Lewis Welch now. And certainly a man who has really given us lots to talk about. If you remember last time in qualifying, I think it was Q2, Jack, at Zandvoort, that he managed to match the time, I believe, of one Jarno Opmeer. It was an absolutely stunning performance.
Yeah, to the 1,000th, exactly the same time that he managed to set. So it's impressive stuff. There's Nicolas Longue on the board in 3rd place. Now Weigang pips him by just a 10th of it, but Donoso's gone even faster. There's De Capua coming into the 33s right now, but Donoso's got a gap, a nice gap at the moment at the top of the standings by 0.3 of a second. He's got De Capua, then it's Brufair and Weigang and Longue, but it's very, very close. Remember, the bottom 5 get eliminated in this one, so from 16th down to 20th get eliminated in qualifying, and we've yet to see, well, we're about to begin a lap now. Crucial one for Philip Preschnader if he wants to gain points on Barry Bourmand. He's only managed to get to 16th, and that at the moment is not enough.
No, not enough at all for Philip Preschnader. Danny Moreno managing to pop his car up into P2. And of course, this is a different beast to what people are used to. Certainly, the drivers on this track tend to prefer, I believe, well, like anyone would, a dry track. Certainly here at Silverstone, where the corners can be so testing. Josh Idowu, though, getting his car onto P7. I think, obviously, it's a different battle for these drivers. They need to try and just almost, just ease their way into Q2 and hope that they get better conditions heading into qualifying in that Q2. Obviously, that is where you'll utilize your slick tyres. That is when the tyres will, you'll be looking to qualify on the compound you start with. And I think that's obviously the important factor. Obviously, if we come into a wet Q2, obviously that'll mean the drivers can get to select their compound. So if you're in the top 10, Jack, that would give you an instant advantage because you'll have fresh slick tyres to start with if there is a wet quali in Q2.
Absolutely, yeah. So you don't want to, you do want to keep a set available for you. So we're going to wait and see now. Preschnader has invalidated his lap, and that is not good for the Slovakian. So he's still got plenty left to do here in this one as well. Josh Idowu, he's invalidated on his run as well, but he's P8, so he's not in a bad way at the moment. As we see now that Longue is just coming into the pit lane now, but now, a couple of drivers coming into the pit lane now, but Preschneider, he's under a little bit of pressure now. There's the Brufair up to second, so he gets in front of his teammate Danny Moreno, but it's Mercedes 2 and 3, but Donoso still with that nice 0.2 of a second advantage at the moment. But Preschneider has got to go again, unfortunately, and his Sector 1 times wasn't really challenging Donoso up there, but it would have been enough to kind of get himself inside the top 60 or top 15, which is where he needs to be. And just notice as well, Dylan Warren, he was on a lap at the moment. He's on an out lap at the moment. He did invalidate it, but he's actually screwed up the last corner as well, starting his lap, so that's going to affect him immediately.
Yeah, and looking at Nicholas Matteo as well, who popped himself up to P3. The ever prominent Nicholas Matteo, who's been very, very classy in the past. He managed to nail a purple Sector 2 in that Williams, which is absolutely brilliant. And I think we ought to give the people what they want, Jack. They all want to see a lap here from Dylan Warren. So let's go to certainly the onboard camera, and we'll ride on board here with Dylan Warren. Let's get the halo up and running for this young man, certainly, as he now rounds the next left. This, of course, being that very testing Brooklands Bend, heading in towards left field now. And very shortly, he'll be going down the Old Paddock Straight, powering out of the corner now. And you can imagine that he just needs to apply the throttle where necessary, flicking through the gears, trying to retain the grip on the car. Heading down the Old Paddock Straight now, heading around Cops, and just trying to hang on for dear life, certainly. Track limits become an issue, certainly in these conditions, as he now comes up to Maggots, into Beckett's as well very shortly, and very soon Chapel Curve. And you just see, literally, that is a really tight sector. Very tough indeed, given the certainly the wetness of the circuit. Very damp here indeed in Britain. I hate to say it, but it is indeed common conditions here in the UK as they now round Stowe. And as you can now see, just literally coasting around the inside line, heading down towards what will be through Vale, down towards the club corner. And want to take a lot of the curve on the inside, does so. Going straight up into fifth gear now, heading around the final corner onto the Lewis Hamilton straight across the line, and it is going to be 1.3 seconds slower. Dylan Warren needs to go quicker if he wants to get himself into Q2, Jack.
Yeah, not a great one. You just seen Dario Yamulo up to third. Good effort from the Red Bull driver. He's into that top three. We see Louis Welch up to fifth as well. And yeah, Tom Martinez, he was in P10, but has now got knocked down to 14th. But speaking of Louis Welch, purple in Sector 2 and on a good lap, but actually backed out of it now as he invalidated it through Stowe, unfortunately. So he was going to go quicker, but unfortunately invalidated it through Stowe corner. But Louis, we know how fast he is. He's taken fastest session times before, but he's going to now come in and again, a couple more drivers still to get through here. And we're going to see who's going to get eliminated. Right now, funnily enough, the man on the bubble in 16th, Nicholas Longue.
Yeah, Nicholas Longue currently in P16 and looking like he might find himself out of qualifying here. And that would be a truly bruising situation for the Renault team. We know how classy that Longue is, as we now witness Dario Iamulo now making his way around the track, currently lying in P3. And very exceptional qualifying pace as well. I got to say, Jack, I've been very impressed with a lot of the Challengers drivers because, like we said, we have a lot of professionals here that have taken part in the Pro Series. But if you look at the grid right now, Donoso spearhead in the top end, very impressive. Only a 10th off, though, Valentin Brufair, very impressive as well. So it's great to see the Challenger Series drivers really hammering home and giving the F1 Esports drivers a run for their money.
Yeah, absolutely. We need to go down to P6 to find another F1 full-time F1 esports driver at the moment. So that just shows you currently the kind of the strength of the field and the strength of the challengers grid as well. So it is something. It's great to see as well. Right now, just keep an eye on Preschneider. He's in 13th place at the moment, but that's certainly not safe by any stretch of the imagination. Keep an eye on Longue. He has gone purple in Sector 2 by about a 10th of a second. So Longue, if he manages to keep it together through this final sector, he's on course to now get himself comfortably inside and get himself through into Q2. Here he comes now through Vale and Club. Here he comes around the last corner, gets a little bit out of shape there. He runs across the start-finish line and he goes to second just behind his teammate Renault 1-2 here in Silverstone. But he is now, and should be, comfortably safely through into Q2.
Yeah, very impressive by Nicholas Longue, and literally well within half a tenth of a second. In fact, a quarter of a tenth, in fact, if you want to look into it in greater detail. Nicholas Longue, the Frenchman, obviously was part of the Renault F1 Esports team. They have gone through a little bit of a rebrand now, of course known as Alpine, and I'm sure we'll see that when the new game is released. Sector 1, purple for Nicolas Longuet as he goes by. Alessio Di Capua capping off a stupendous lap, just cutting the difference between Donoso and Longuet by a fly's eyelash, Jack. That is very impressive.
Yeah, really good from Alessio Di Capua. It's very, very close. It's less than a tenth between our top three right now. But Longuet, I think at the moment, is actually going faster. He's just gone purple sector 1 now for Nicolas Longuet. So he's up by half a tenth on the best time in sector number 1. And he's now just making his way through a chapel out onto the hangar straight right now. So really good stuff at the moment from Longuet. As I keep an eye on the sector times, not quite able to match his best, or the best in sector 2, and he's actually backed off because he lost too much time there, but he has got more pace in that car. But the purple sector 1 goes to him for now. In this one, Di Capua, who was about to begin another lap, actually invalidated his one. Josh Idawu into the top 5 now. He's up to 5th place, and he now should be safe, but it's so close the whole way down. There's about 3/10 covering our top 12, and this is super close. About a second. Actually, it is literally, George, a second between the whole field.
Yeah, that is absolutely, well, just insane. I mean, we do see some really incredible delta times as Simon Weigang goes into P4. An incredible jump there from the Haas driver, and did it when he needed it most with a couple of minutes remaining. Prejnader currently at risk as he now enters Sector 3, and he's about to come, or should I say, he's just out of Sector 3. He's in P16, Jack. Prejnader, far from comfortable right now, and really needs to stick in a good final lap as Donoso just goes purple again. Absolutely incredible scenes.
Yeah, what a lap from Donoso. Another 2/10 found. Funnily enough, but Longuet, I believe, actually just gone purple again in Sector 1. So he's finding more and more time. But this is the track development we've been talking about. It gets better the more you go through the more you get through the session. But that's a big gap now Donoso's found. 0.3 of a second he's managed to get. And just saw Flores Veyers has gone into 13th place right now. Not safe by any stretch of the imagination at the moment. Just keeping an eye as well. Just seen somebody else invalidated there. I believe it was that was Kyle Mitchell has invalidated his time. But there's loads of people. Yeah, Josh Idawu to the top there, but not by much. Have a look at that. That's 0.003 of a second.
That is absolutely minimal. You could literally not get as much smaller than that unless it was a thousandth of a second or 2,000ths of a second. But Josh Idawu within 3,000ths of a second. It says, but we happen to know that the task system states 3,000ths of a second. Josh Idawu, sensational, and he retires from the session. Certainly very happy being in P1. And Donoso still out and about. He is pretty much safe. Longuet has retired as well.
Hey.
But the story is Simon Weigang, exceptional, gets himself to the top of the billing. A great last gasp there from him. And what about Prejnader up into P13? Tom Martinez in jeopardy now, Jack.
Absolutely is. What a great lap from Simon Weigang. He was perfect. There's Di Capua
Alessio!
out of nowhere. Alessio Di Capua to the top by a 10th of a second. He set his best sector times the whole way through there and gets it by a 10th and a bit to Di Capua. Weigang. It's Idawu Donoso. Checkered flag is out, so we still have laps yet to come, but there's still more that could get knocked out. Right now, the man on the bubble is Ruben Vallejo. Can he get himself out of Q1? He comes across the line. Yes, but only just. He's 14th at the moment. So the man who's just about making it in at the moment is Flores Veyers in 15th place. Julian Naumann currently out. Domenico Levecce up to 5th place in the Red Bull, and he keeps himself now safely through into Q2. More to come. Matteo across the line. He stays 11th for now. Plenty still yet to get across the line, but a man who's on a mission at the moment is Danny Moreno, who is currently just gone purple in Sector 1. He just about got across the line to get another lap in, but he should be safe anyway. But he is now purple in Sector 1 for the Spaniard, and thankfully we are going to see him hopefully get out of Q2 for the first time this season. So great stuff to see for Danny. Thankfully he doesn't have the same issues that he has been having over the course of the season. But Di Capua pulled out of nowhere once again.
Yeah, and Valentin Bruffair crosses the line, so both Mercedes looking to improve here. Bruffair up into P5, Philip Prejnader up in a P7, a great recovery there from the Ferrari man, left it late, but when he needed it most, as we said before, Flores Spears up into P11 for Haas as well. Danny Moreno now coming down through the final sector, heading around what will soon to be the club corner, and as he does so, you can see the spray literally being flung off the rear wheels of the car, as indeed Moreno crosses the line. No improvement, P10 is where he'll remain, but he will go through to Q2. Both Mercedes through, and currently we're saying goodbye to Kyle Mitchell, Martinez, Chana Kinchi, Dylan Warren, and Julian Naumann. A very, very interesting set of eliminations there, Jack. Not something I would have predicted, to be honest.
No, super close though to get into that spot. You could see 200ths was all it was between Vallejo and Naumann to make it through, and as well it was less than a tenth for Tom Martinez get in there as well. Chana Kinchi out, Kyle Mitchell out, unfortunately Dylan Warren out of Q1, and the rest go through to Q2, but Danny Moreno finally getting something to go his way. But Alessio Di Capua, he's now the first time he's taken a fastest session time as well. There's a tenth of a second. Josh Idaway through, Donoso through, Bruffair in fifth, Leveche, Prejnader, Longue, Yamulo, Danny Moreno, Luis Welch, Flores Veyers, Nicholas Mateo, Joe Hannon and Ruben Vallejo. And then you can see out of Q1 is Julian Naumann, Tom Martinez, Chana Kinchi, Kyle Mitchell, and Dylan Warren, who unfortunately didn't really get a representative time in. But if he did, I think he'd be right up there as well. But basically, 8/10 between everyone, 6/10 between the top 15. Can't wait for that shootout for pole.
Oh, it's going to be very interesting indeed, Jack. I mean, amazing numbers indeed, but very sorry to see Tom Martinez exiting qualifying so early on. Of course, he's been brilliant all season. We've seen many battles with him. I think I look back at Spa and that midfield battle that involved him and many of the others. It was really, truly fascinating to watch, but just could not get it done here today on track. Very interesting. Also, Dylan Warren, who's been a very prudent qualifier in the past, a very good racer too. Slightly off the pace here in the wet weather. Maybe it's the case that he'd be more suited to a dry conditions. We've seen it before where the dries and the wets can really be quite decisive when it comes down to final times. And I've got to say, very intriguing to see that a few of these top names are currently out in Q1. So very, very interesting indeed. Q2, I have to say, given that everything's on the line, wet weather again in Q2, Jack, that's going to throw a spanner in the works. What can we expect to see going into Q3?
It's going to be a mad rush now. I think people are... If the rain is set to clear up at the end, then that's going to really make for some viewing right now. Seems like everybody is coming out on the circuit now, so that would mean that they might expect it to clear up, and they're going to try just get a lap in as a banker before it clears up, because the rain is definitely not as pronounced as it was in Q1, but basically everyone is heading out onto the circuit very early on just to get a lap in, I would imagine, and before we head into the next part of the qualifying. It could clear up, but I think everyone just wants to make sure that they have a lap in, because you don't want to get caught out in case there is obviously the chance that the rain actually gets worse.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, you cannot make any risks or take any risks, certainly here at Silverstone, certainly when there's a wet weather track involved as well. But I got to say, Donoso, I have to say, Jack, Fabrizio Donoso, very impressive in Q1. I got to say, taking the top spot for the majority of the session certainly shows that he still has the pace. Obviously, I hark back, and I keep on harking back to that first F1 Esports World Championship where he took Brendan Lee to the final along with Sven Zerner. And I always said then, surely there has to become a time where we'll see Donoso back at the top end, battling for titles, and he's here again in the Renault team, looking like he's still got the punch here on, well, certainly in an F1 Esports grid. So I truly believe this is a great chance for Donoso to get some serious points here today.
Yeah, it really is. He was unlucky in Zandvoort. He got caught up in an incident that could have, I think he could have been challenging for the win, honestly, if Donoso wasn't caught up in that incident in the bottom hairpin. So obviously when he got spun round by, I can't remember exactly who it was, but he was facing the wrong way. But you can see now there's a bit of a stack up heading into Vale and Club here. There's a couple of drivers just trying to get clean air heading through here. So there's a lot of cars waiting to go here and it's crucial that you do find a bit of clean space. So Denosa's going to be behind Flores Surveyors here across the start-finish line. Gets a little bit out of shape as he comes through. Big oversteer moment through there. I know Denosa likes to get sideways, but that won't have helped him through the last corner. But either way, the first runs begin now, and I believe that the man who is going to set our benchmark is Alessio Di Capua.
He is indeed. So we'll follow Alessio Di Capua, folks. You now see purple in Sector 1 to get the ball going, but it's immediately taken off him. So it's no longer Di Capua who's fastest on track, but he makes his way through Maggots and Beckett's. The Williams man certainly looking to apply his trade here on track here at Silverstone, and certainly will be looking for another positive result after a superb outing at Zandvoort. And you can see him now powering down through the hangar straight, making his way down towards Stowe, braking literally just before the 50. You've got to be so careful around this corner, certainly. Touching any of the curbs is a truly massive hazard, and can really land you in a lot of trouble as he now rounds the club corner now, and the Williams will be looking to do what it likes to do usually in Formula 1, certainly not in recent years, but to stick it on first place, and he does so. Early time 1:34.019. We've seen faster than that in Q1, so do not be surprised if that's pipped as we make our way through the session. But got to say, very, very, very good start for Alessio Di Capua. No doubt he will go quicker.
Yeah, funnily enough, the fastest Sector 1 went to none other than Ruben Vallejo, who went fastest in Sector 1. So we'll see if what Ruben can do here. The long way goes to the top 33.7. Here comes Vallejo. He goes to third, not far off in the racing point there. So good effort from Ruben Vallejo, but the times are really going to fall right now. So we'll wait to see now. Nicholas Matteo into third. Couple more still to come across the line here. Danny Moreno goes to third. But Longway has 3/10 in his back pocket now. Preschnader into sixth, and we'll see if anybody else. There's Brufair into fifth. We're waiting for some more. Louis Welch across the line, eighth fastest for him. Denoso not with a representative time on the board. I would imagine it's Vigang up to second, 33.8. But we're still about 3/4 off the fastest time in Q1. So the track not yet developed enough, but the bankers have come in. And I think we had 3 people who invalidated their times, but Longway with the 10th of a second, well, actually less than a 10th of a second advantage to Simon Vigang at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Lewis Welch is out on a lap as well currently. He's just posted about just over half a second slower than that of Nicholas Longay. We've still got 3 drivers who have yet to set times, that of course being Domenico Lavecce and Flores Viers as well. And of course Lavecce just now coming around Sector 1, looking to obviously set a valid time. Looking further down, you can see there Flores Viers, who's actually set an invalid lap already. Josh Idawu currently out as well. He's gone green in Sector 1. And is only off, I think, Jack, by 1,000th of a second in Sector 1. So he's definitely going to be quick. Let's keep an eye on the talented Welshman, certainly product of the McLaren Shadow development team. And certainly, no doubt, a talent for F1 esports in the future, Jack, because this kid, he is magic when it certainly comes to driving behind an F1 rig.
Certainly is. We'll keep an eye on your Welsh compatriot here as he heads into Stowe Corner right now. Right now, Simon Vigang, purple at the moment in Sector 1 and Sector 2. It was held by Louis Welch in Sector 2. There's Preschnader up to third place right now. Coming across the line, there's Brufair takes the pole right now. Josh Idawu up to 5th place. Moreno into 6th. Right there. Here comes Vigang. There he goes to the top of the standings. Simon Vigang fastest at the moment with purple sectors all the way through. And yeah, great effort from him. But actually now, the purple sector taken off him by Longway.
Yeah, Nicholas Longay looking to bay for blood here, and he's making his way. He's gone half a tenth quicker than that of Simon Vigang in Sector 1 alone. So a very good chance here for the Frenchman to actually do the business here at Britain. As he now comes through the winding sectors here in Sector 2, heading round Maggots and Beckett's on the outset of Chapel Curve now. DRS would become active, but of course in wet conditions, not applied as he crawls under the Armco banner, heading down the hangar straight. And Stowe as Alessio Di Capua nails top spot, half a tenth quicker, or just under than Simon Vigang, and nestles himself on top spot. Can Longay do the business? I think Di Capua certainly might have landed a blow too heavy for Nicholas Longay, but can Longay do the business here as he makes his way down the Nicholas? Oh, very nearly lost it, but he gets P1 nonetheless. A 1:33.522. A very nice lap indeed from Frenchman Nicholas Longay. Superb stuff.
Yeah, he really did it in style across the line right there. He went purple in Sector 1, purple Sector 3 at the end there. So, yeah, good effort from Nicholas Longay. There's Nicholas Matteo into 9th. Remember, top 10 go through in this one, so we still have yet to see a representative time at the moment from Donoso, who's now 14th at the moment. And Louis Welch out of nowhere. Where does he come from, this kid?
Oh, well, we just had an issue here, folks. We've just lost connection to Steam, so I do apologise. Not quite sure what happened there. Jackie, are you?
You're not the only one. Everyone's disconnecting. You're not the only one. I think the whole session is just disconnected.
That is
right.
That's interesting. That is really interesting,
it's
guys.
Dead. It's dead.
Oh,
it's
dear.
Dead.
Now, this is a problem. Apparently, there's a disconnection from Steam, folks. So this is actually a server issue. So obviously,
I'm still in it. I'm the only one who hasn't disconnected. I think everyone's disconnected for everyone. I think that what we've seen here.
Oh my word!
This. I've never ever seen this before, ever. Wow. I don't know what to say. This is new. This is new for me. That the whole place is just disconnected. As for me, at least.
Well, I can tell you that the connection here, my side, is strong. I'm looking at my stream system here, and I'm perfectly green on connectivity for the stream. So there's definitely not a problem my end. I can confirm, folks, that there is a problem with the connection to the Steam lobbies. My guess that there's a server fault, and I think all the drivers are suffering with it. Jack Canan is the only one. And I'm not sure.
It's me and Donoso. It's me and Donoso left in here.
There's obviously something they've got in Chile and Ireland that we don't have here in the UK or anywhere else for that matter, which is a big shame. But unfortunately, folks, that does mean that all the progress we've gained during that session has been lost. I'm not sure whether this is something we can actually rejoin. I get the feeling, Jack, this might have to be a new lobby.
I think so, because I'm just looking in the PSGL chat right now that literally everyone has lagged out. Well, actually, Louis Welch lagged out. He lost connection to Steam. It is a Steam problem by the looks of it, George. And they're now trying to decide what to do. Do they go for a short qualifying, or do they take the Q2 grid?
Well, what I will suggest is that the connection is still down currently. I'm trying to reconnect, folks, but it's currently telling me that there is no access to the Steam servers right now. We've got no access here. We cannot join. Certainly not part of the plan, folks. This was not part of the agenda here tonight. Obviously, we wanted to bring to you live racing here from Silverstone. This was not planned. This was not brought into our running order here tonight. Absolutely choking stuff here, of course. We will keep you updated as we go. Obviously, Jack, this gives us an opportunity, I suppose, to sort of digest what was happening in qualifying. Appreciate that now it probably means nothing because we can't use these grid orders, unless they are planning to use the current situation from Q2. Obviously, looking at things on paper right now, Lewis Welch went quicker again in Q2, which was very interesting to see.
Yeah, at the moment, I'm right now. I'm just chilling. My Donoso's just laughing around like nothing's going on at the moment. He's still pushing on right now. They're still trying to figure out. They are talking about it in the PSGL chat at the moment that it was going to dry up in Q2. So that's why. And I can actually see right now there is no rain at the moment. Q3 there was going to rain. It was going to rain in Q3 again. So we were going to get a full, complete wet qualifying, but we're still trying to figure out what to do here in PSGL. This is something that I've never seen before. I think myself and Donoso are the only ones that actually Ruben Vallejo I think still in here as well. So there's plenty of us still in here, but Donoso just continuing to lap around just in case they take the Q2 grid. Right now, they haven't said from where they'll take the Q2 grid, so he's going to try and go fastest and try and take pole here as he comes across the start finish. I'll update you whether he does. No, he doesn't at the moment, so he's invalidated that one. But we'll figure out what to do in this one. But if hypothetically, if they did take the Q2 grid, it would actually be Lewis Welch on pole.
It would be. So it'd work in Lewis Welch's hands right now. We're just literally trying to reconnect, folks. This is literally a terminal issue, not just us here in the commentary box, or certainly myself broadcasting the event. This is actually a terminal issue that all the drivers are facing at the same time. There's currently a very, very I would say a very, very complex discussion happening in PSGL right now. Everyone is saying that Steam is down. Steam is down my side as well. I can confirm that. So obviously, we're under very limited situations here, given the fact that none of us can actually connect to the Steam servers. So this is actually a very complex issue, far greater than what we can actually subvert at this moment. So we'll have to wait and see what's going to happen. They are currently having animated discussions now, obviously in a controlled environment. A lot of the drivers sort of saying what they want to say, giving their impressions as to what they think should happen. This is a very, very unique occurrence, folks. We never have this, and it's a first in our history in PSGL, certainly a first, I think, in the majority of league racing. We very rarely have issues of this nature. I'm just going to quickly do a retry, just give you guys an update as to the situation. Currently communicating with online services, and I'm getting an error message, lost connection to Steam. So we have lost connection to Steam, and the Steam servers, we are officially hearing that they are down. They are indeed down here in the UK, certainly my side, so nothing working for us right now. We will keep you up to date, of course. But I got to say, I think the one man who has summed it up correctly, Woot Various, all part of Jana Watmier's master plan to win the championship.
So can we confirm that Jana Watmier did a DDoS attack on Steam?
I think that's a fair assumption. We'll have to trace it back and see if it has started in Holland. We'll have to find out. We'll get our friends in the Illuminati to look at that for us and find out. But yeah, no, I have to say, incredible scenes here. Not something we expected, folks, and obviously very regrettable. I have to say, I was actually looking forward to commentating a Silverstone and a British Grand Prix here tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. Just got confirmation from Connor, by the way. We will be delayed until at least 8 o'clock. If the Steam servers are still down at 8 o'clock, we will be cancelling and postponing this race. We get confirmation it will be short qualifying, light rain the whole way through short qualifying. So that is the official confirmation of that. We have about 20 minutes to try and figure this out. If it manages to get going before 8 o'clock, then we'll be going again. But if not, we will unfortunately be postponing the British Grand Prix. So let's hope that we do get racing. But it seems to me that it's gone down in the UK, because most of us actually, myself and others, are actually still fine over here at the moment. I'm watching Ruben Vallejo currently lapping around, and I was actually enjoying for a moment there. Flores Fire decided to do a full drift lap on a set of dries in these conditions as well. That was great to watch around this lap as well. But we're just going to wait and see what happens here. But we will be keeping you updated on this. I actually think Ruben Vallejo might actually go to the top of the standings here, and he can say that he technically took a fastest sector time, or fastest time in a session. Keep an eye on that. But yeah, we have about 20 minutes to wait now, folks. If it manages to get up, if Steam manages to get back up, we'll be racing again. If not, we will be packing up and coming back another day. And big reveal: does Ruben Vallejo go to the top of the standings? Not quite. Third.
No, it just seems to be every effort to keep Barry Burman top of the championship, doesn't it? Maybe, do we think that Barry Burman was behind the Steam service breakdown?
Conspiracy.
I'm not sure if we can get Barry in to comment on that, but obviously, I mean, if you want to, I mean, we could see if we can bring in some drivers to interview, maybe just on the off chance.
Just to point out, sorry, I didn't interrupt for a second, George. Lewis Welch, technically fastest session time, again, Q2.
Yeah, I know. What is he doing? I don't know what he's on at the moment. I don't know how much Weetabix he's eating, Jack, but seriously, 2 Q2 P1s in successive weeks is just absolutely incredible. I have to say, credit to him, by the way. He seems to get faster all the time and more competitive. And I have to say, I welcome it, because he really does test a lot of the drivers on the track. And you have to wonder, will he get his chance in F1 Esports? Because that would be amazing to see, wouldn't it?
We'd really like to see it. Yeah, now officially got the air. Not enough players remaining to start a race session. Will now be returned. So that lobby is officially dead. Now we just have to wait to see if Steam is going to behave itself on the UK end. But this is weird. I've actually never seen the Steam servers go down. I've seen the game servers have problems, but never the Steam ones. So what has triggered a Steam that something extreme like that to take Steam down of all things.
Well, I'm just seeing if I can actually subjugate the issue my side. I'm gonna have a quick look myself now to see if we can turn this around, folks. Obviously, do keep it with us. Obviously, not ideal circumstances here in PSGL. Obviously, nothing we could have done about it, folks. So do stay with us. Obviously, not ideal. We would obviously hope that we could crack on with some certainly Q3 and indeed some Grand Prix racing here tonight. But obviously, as things stand right now, we are facing some very, very difficult situations. So we will keep you up to date. I'm just keeping you posted on what's happening. At this moment in time, no one, as far as I can see, are actually managing to get through. Though I did just see a comment from Dylan Warren that maybe he can get through. So we're not sure. To be honest, folks, we're not sure what's going on at this moment in time. Nothing confirmed at the moment. Philip Presnade is still having issues getting in. A few others as well. So unfortunately, we're still at the mercy of the Steam servers right now. So I do, obviously, on behalf of PSGL, we of course do apologise for the situation here tonight. Certainly not ideal, but obviously, please understand, it's one of those things, and we have to put up with it. You can hear the game in the background here. I'm going to see if I can get it working my side, Jack. I'm still seeing no network connection here.
And I've cursed it. It's just gone down on my end. So it's now down. So the whole thing has now died on the Irish side as well. That's definitely a targeted attack from somebody. From somebody over the other side. But yeah, it's now failing to connect to online services. So we officially have an officially dead online service today. And of course it had to happen on race day. So this is new. Folks, I've got a bad. I think this is going to be a postponement, honestly.
Well, I tell you what, we'll see if we can get some interviews in here, because obviously we've still got some time here on the PSGL broadcast, and obviously if we can bring in some big names, it's literally a truly astounding situation. We have to say it's truly unique, folks. I'm just literally sat here at this moment in time, witnessing something I've never ever seen before. Certainly when it comes to league racing, and it's absolutely incredible. I have to say. But obviously, leave your comments. I would like to interview a few of these guys. There's one man I would like to interview, and that's Lewis Welch. I have to say, because I think that would be an interesting conversation. We've actually got a list of people who want to come and have a chat, I think. So we will bring in a couple of names as we go ahead. Obviously, I'll keep you guys up to date as we carry on. But Jack, obviously, certainly commenting on the championship at this moment in time. Barry Burman on top step. Three wins in certainly in the 5 races we've had this season. A DNS though, because he did not compete at Zandvoort. Only 3 points at Belgium, despite a grandiose recovery after the start of that race. But certainly not an ideal scenario. But in behind, Philip Presnade, only 5 points behind him. And I gotta say, Philip Presnade must be gutted, because again, he had a chance to pit Barry this race weekend.
Yeah, he did, and he had a chance last week. I was involved in an incident, and now this week, of course, Steam had to go down for him. So it seems like everything just went wrong for Philip Presnader, but thank God we have people to talk to apart from ourselves, George. We have the Renault lads in.
Yeah, guys, we're pleased to have. We got Fabrizio Donoso and Nicholas Longay in here. Obviously, some crazy situations, guys. Fabs, how are you doing, my friend?
Pretty good, thank you, Gio. Hope you're doing great, and Jack, you too.
You?
Well, yeah, just playing the waiting game now, I guess.
Yeah, well, we're hoping that we can rectify the situation. But Fabs, I got to say, very impressed with your Q1 performance, despite the horrendousness of the current situation. But you must have been delighted, because I got to say, this grid's still very competitive. P1 for most of that session. You must have been thrilled.
Yeah, I feel pretty good from the get going. I think it suited us pretty well with Nico, the conditions. I managed to improve at the end as well with one tire, so we had the pace to go for 1 and 2, definitely. but yeah, it was drying up, I think. But yeah, it happens what happened. Steam is down, and yeah, hopefully we can get back to it very soon.
Yeah, well, I'm just hearing
Nice.
now in my ears. Yeah, is
It's
it?
back.
It's back. It's back.
It's
Lol,
back.
it's back.
We're back.
Yes.
I, yeah, I just needed to say it, right?
Yeah,
I've been
exactly.
for too long.
Yeah, I gotta say, you guys must have the magic somewhere in your jacket pockets or something to get our servers back online. So credit to you. Was that your bit of work, Nicholas? Do you know your way around it?
Of course.
Yeah.
course.
Yeah. Oh,
Lag
great.
switch.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we thought it might be Barry Burman, while he's away, so he doesn't lose any more points. So yeah.
He's just taking the servers down.
Yeah. We
That
have.
would be genius.
Yeah, no, that's right. I mean, I felt sorry for Philip Preslater because he's only 5 points behind. I was just saying to Jack, he's 5 points behind Barry Burman. He missed his chance last week at Zandvoort. We thought, oh, he might get another chance here at Silverstone, and all of a sudden you get a server shutdown. It's just not an ideal scenario, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, crazy.
Yeah, not really.
But they're back now, I've been told. So are we going to be having, the question is, are we having short qualifying, or are we going
I
to
think
be...
so, yeah.
It's
I think it's going to be short quality.
yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Right, there we are, folks. So you boys are going to have to strap yourselves in and go
Alright,
again then.
well, good
Yeah.
luck.
Yeah,
Adios.
yeah. Have a good
Bye-bye.
one, boys. Have a good one. Take care. Take care, guys.
Thank you.
Well, there you go. That's Nicholas Longay exclusive interview here at PSGL. Altogether a brief one, but of course Nicholas and Fabrizio very confident after their initial starts in quali. Fabrizio looks like he almost looks like a new man. Jack, I have to say today's performances have been very awe-inspiring.
Yeah, they certainly have. He's been he's putting himself up there right now, and we're gonna have short qualifying now. It's gonna be light rain all the way through, so that seems to be what's gonna happen now. So the drivers gonna have now to reset. So there's gonna be a straight fight for pole the whole way through for about 18 minutes. So we'll see now. It seems that Steam is kind of half working for at the moment. The servers are on. I think certain things aren't working. But hopefully it manages to get fully back up and running. But if it doesn't, we have about 9 minutes to get underway here before we have to postpone, because we also have to add in a 50% race into this one. So we'll see now. Just seeing the confirmation again. We're going to give it till 8 o'clock. Should we restart, it will be a short qualifying light rain for the whole thing. The race will replicate the weather of the original lobby as best as possible. That's the official communication from Connor. So we're now going to wait. So Lewis has to now set up the lobby all over again and hope that it doesn't crash again.
Well, we'll have to sit tight and wait, folks. Obviously, good news is my friends list has popped back up. So I'm connected to the service. I can see that Fabrizio Donoso is connected as well. So that's a good sign. I can see you're connected, Jack. So that's good. And Julian Nauman. Yep. So you're in. So we've got plenty of folks out and about now. So we will get news on what the situation is going to be. I can see a question there from Ricciardo YouTube. So the guys who are evicted from Q1, do they get a second chance or do they have to retire, Jack?
I believe they get a second chance. They've been saved from this one. I don't think they can... I'm not actually sure. I don't think there's been an official thing for that. I think they're just going to allow everyone to qualify again, as far as I know. The weather for the race, having a quick look here. It's going to be rain at the start, then drying up into light cloud heading into this one. So it's a wet to dry race once again. That is the official one. That's what we're going to. Yeah, just kind of confirmation from Connor. Everyone will be allowed to qualify again. So anyone who was knocked out in Q1, they've been saved and they have a second chance.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's good news for the likes of obviously Dylan Warren, who had to back out as well, and a few other names as well who were listed across the track that lost their opportunity to get into Q2 in our last session. So it's basically an entire reset now, folks. It's going to be a straight slingshot. Short quali, so let's see who's going to get P1 and expect it to be fast and furious. It's going to be absolutely tremendous, isn't it, Jack? This time, there's going to be no plan or certainly no execution because none of these guys have prepared for a short quali tonight.
No, absolutely not. But at least they've got plenty of practice in the rain. They know exactly what conditions it's going to be. So, and we have an idea of what the times are going to be like right now. So it is going to be interesting to watch, definitely. But it's going to be down to the wire, down to the last few minutes. So let's see what happens in this one. Looking forward to it. to see how the guys are going to get on in these conditions. They know exactly what's happening, but 18 minutes now to try and set a time. No, it's definitely not going to dry up, so we know that it is just going to be wet all the way through. No issues in that one. No kind of worrying whether it's going to dry up. So looking forward to seeing what's happening. But it looks like the friends. I don't think Steam is having a good day, George, because apparently Lewis said I've invited everyone, and everyone's like, nope, didn't get an invite.
Yeah, I think well, a few have had it. I've just seen that. I can see it's set to friends only. Just keeping my eyes open here, folks. I am going to try and join through Fabrizio Donoso. I'm hoping this will let us in. Obviously, folks, I'm keeping you posted as to what's going on, and I can confirm I am in the lobby, Jack. So if you want to try and join me through me, you're more than welcome. Jack Canan's in, folks. We are in a lobby. That's the good news at this stage. So we will, at this moment in time, have a race to bring to you, hopefully. And I say that with the greatest degree of confidence, Jack. So now we're talking short quali, of course. We discussed a few of the names that were on top spot in the last session, of course. So shall we expect to see the likes of Lewis Welch, Donoso, Longay, as well as the likes of Alessio Di Capua? Who are you expecting to hit P1 at the end of the session?
Honestly, I don't really know, but the man who's looking really quick at the moment is Di Capua. And Di Capua, Longay, Donoso. I don't know who I'd pick out of those ones, but certainly going to be one to watch the whole way through that one. I think it is going to be one of the Renaults. I'm feeling. I just don't know which one, because Donoso and Longay are very closely matched. Could be either of them, but I think it's going to be a Renault on pole at least today. So we'll wait and see what happens now. We're still waiting for a bunch of drivers to get in right now, because I think there's still a kind of a persistent problem here that drivers aren't actually able to find the lobby or get into the lobby now. So this is probably the strangest issue I've ever seen on F1 in the years I've been doing this. This is so strange. For once, it's actually not the game. It was Steam. So congratulations, Steam.
Yeah, well, I can see now that Speed Barry is literally coughing into his cornflakes at the moment. He really wants to see this server buried once again. Amazing scenes here at the PSGL PC Championship. Obviously not an ideal scenario, but here we are, folks. We're waiting for this to get underway. Hopefully we'll have something to bring to you nonetheless. Drivers are starting to enter the lobby now, so we are seeing some inroads, folks. We'll keep you posted as things go. We will be getting underway. I can see some comments in the chat as well. If you want to ask any questions, you're more than welcome. Come and entertain myself and Jack in the live chat. We'll entertain you back and ask you questions away in the live chat, and we will answer you. Leave your comments as well as to who you think will get pole position here in short qualifying here at the British Grand Prix, here in the PSGL PC Championship. 3 minutes are ticking down, folks. We are moments away, hopefully, from the start of British GP qualifying. If we don't, we will, of course, let you know. But Jack, over to you. Tell me now, give me a convincing answer. Who is on pole position? I know you said the Renault. Is that who you're going with here today?
Who do I pick? I'm going to go Longay. That's my pick. That's my official pick. Nicholas Longay is on pole today. But it's going to be very close. It's going to be between himself, Donoso, and Di Capua, I feel. Weigand's looking quick as well, but I'm feeling a Longay pole position today, so that's my pick.
Well, I'm seeing here, ×2 Clapperstein is going for Idawu. He reckons he's going to be pole position. Lay your comments into me, folks. I want to see loads of them in the live chat. Lay them upon us here, and we will announce them over the stream. It'd be great to hear from you guys, of course. We've got such a brilliant community here in the F1 community. Mebuela Silvers, like my chances of getting a girlfriend completely broken. Absolutely brilliant. I hope that's not true, by the way. I'm not laughing at you, mate. Honestly, I apologise. Speed
you can laugh. You have a girlfriend.
Yeah. I have a fiancée, Jack Canan. I have a fiancée.
That's even worse.
That's even worse. That's what they call a ball and chain. But there you can see Speed Barry there is gone for Lewis Welch. Trap Formula has gone for either Weigand or Donoso, or Lewis or Dylan Warren. Well, make your mind up, Trap Formula. You can't have 4 on P1. But he thinks it's going to be between those 4. So that's intriguing. Obviously, the same names that we've discussed previously. So obviously, they are ones to watch. Interesting that he brings the name Dylan Warren in there. Didn't have the most graceful of occasions in Q1 in our last session. So maybe he thinks he'll sort himself out and give it another go in short qualifying.
Just seeing somebody. We've got somebody, Luke Humphries, predicting you for pole position, George.
Well, what can I say? I mean, I'm a master of many things, Jack Canan, and I have to say, against the best in the world, I think Luke Humphries is spot on. CRGGO would wipe the floor with this slot, absolutely. I 100% agree with that, Jack Canan. I have to say, I'm keen. I'm just seeing here, Jess Games as well. Longue for pole, I think. I have to say, I think Jack Canan's alongside you in agreement with that. And Trap Formula thinks it's going to be inside 1/10 of a second. I would not be surprised seeing the times that we saw in our last qualifying session if that was the case. But no, I have to agree with Luke Humphries. I think CRGGO will be getting pole position this time.
Yeah, absolutely. We're just waiting for one more. We're waiting for the Capo, I believe. So the Capo is always who we're waiting for. We have 19 in the lobby waiting to go. We're just waiting for that one driver. So it's ticked over to 8 o'clock, so we should be getting on the way. And speaking right on cue, Elisa De Capua joins the lobby, so we're going to be getting underway right about hopefully about a minute's time now. So we're running obviously behind schedule. Steam completely died. We're going again. 18 minutes of short qualifying in the wet and a wet to dry race. We know that's confirmed. So it's just going to be a complete now shoot out for pole position, which is going to be great to watch in the wet conditions. So yeah, we're looking forward to this one. We get qualifying all over again. So I currently now I have Longue as my tip for pole, but it actually could be anyone because now everyone has a second chance.
Yeah, we are, absolutely. So it's going to be literally upon every single driver now. They're literally all there challenging for that top spot, folks. It's a total reset. Everyone has a chance now to submit themselves a new qualifying lap. And indeed, everyone has an equal chance to lay a foundation into the race. It is literally no holds barred. It's short qualifying. It's going to be absolutely brilliant. And I cannot wait to see what's going to happen. Certainly as the drivers are beginning to ready up any minute now, folks. We will be bringing you live coverage back from Silverstone. And I can't wait. You can hear the ticking going on in behind me. That means we're about to get back underway. And I cannot wait to see what's going to happen. The question is, who is going to get pole position? We will find out into the race. And I can already see the list of names. Lots of excitement in the live chat already. James Holt, we go again. We certainly do. And the party doesn't stop here at PSGL, folks. We keep it going. And I have to say, it's brilliant. We're getting this race underway. We will bring you a British Grand Prix, folks. I promise you.
Third time looking for Philip Preschnader to try and get something out of this one. So he deserves something out of today after everything that's happened from the complete targeted DDoS attack from Barry Borman. That is confirmed from Iran. So we'll, hopefully now the Steam servers manage to hold themselves together. But it is going to be wet qualifying, 18 minutes. Light rain, then that light rain will transfer into the race and we will get the rain transferring into dry conditions at some point. Not exactly sure when, but we do know it will transition to dry. So we'll wait and see what happens in there. But the two fastest people from the full qualifying were actually, funnily enough, was Alyssa De Capua in Q1, Lewis Welch technically in Q2, just ahead of Longue. So we'll wait and see what happens, but the timer begins to tick down, and we're back. This is deja vu. We're back again.
Yeah, absolutely. It feels like we've never been away, Jack Canan. We are here at Silverstone, folks, and we cannot wait. It's going to be brilliant. And already now the drivers are starting to make their way out. We will bring you live screens now. We're just waiting for, obviously, for our live timing to be displayed for you, folks. And we will be back underway. But like I say, once again, wet weather here at Britain. And it will be with us here until about midway through quali. I'd say probably 2/3 through quali. And we should be witnessing then a dry track. So that will certainly be interested to see how the drivers cope with the changing conditions, Jack. Obviously, you discussed a few names there that might have a chance at obviously tipping the scale. Obviously, we have a few wet weather masters. Yada Watmir is a wet weather master. We've seen that before. Obviously, he's not here. But Lewis Welch, based on what we saw in Q2, he's a force to be reckoned with, isn't he?
Certainly is, and he doesn't have to worry about getting through Q1s and Q2s now. He can just go straight for the lap. So we'll wait and see now. But basically, everybody has come out onto the circuit immediately, apart from Tom Martinez, who still actually no, here he comes now. So we have 20 cars on the track immediately. So that just shows you now what people think of the track conditions right now. Because the rain, it's light, yes. We're pretty sure it's not going to clear up at the end, but people are immediately trying to get laps in, which is great to see. But there's going to be a lot of traffic towards the last few sectors. At the moment, there's a 5-car stack up coming up towards Maggots and Beckett. So you can see the 2 Mercedes together. You got the Williams behind, and a couple of more heading through there. So it's going to be tricky trying to find clean air in this one. We know the Renaults are together, and Longuet and Donoso are pretty close together on track, so they're running together. But mostly the teammates are all going to run together. But looking at it right now, the first man across the line, Flores Viers.
Yeah, Flores Viers now making his way through turn 1 and making his way around the next left, of course, through sector 1. Now, short quali, everything's on the line, folks. You've literally got no respite. It's not a case that we're going to have a second session or even a third session. It is going to be one session of your best laps, and certainly it's going to apply a lot of these drivers to try and, well, certainly lend their best talent on a circuit like here in Silverstone. They've got to leave no stone unturned. And as Flores Viers sets the first purple sector, which I'm sure, as we see the track dry up, and as you can see, immediately goes green. So it means that somebody else has got purple in sector 1. Obviously, we will advise towards the end of their flying laps as to who gets P1 as they filter through. As we can now see, Flores Viers making his way down the old paddock straight, now rounding Copse Corner. And very soon he'll be meeting the swinging bends of Maggots and Beckett. So you have to say, very, very treacherous in these wet weather conditions, Jack.
Absolutely, yeah. That purple sector 1 was taken by Longuet. So that's who is the man who's currently on the charge at the moment, on a 29.23. Just behind him, it wasn't too far off Flores Viers at the moment. Now that is taken away, just looking at it right now, by Alessio Di Capua, who's gone faster in sector number 1. Matteo's not far off either. So now there's going to be a huge influx of times. There's 20 cars about to come across the line and set their times within the next minute or so. So right now, Flores Viers is going to go to the head of the field right now. He's going to cross that finish line, 33.7 out of the box. Nicholas Longuet next across the line. Can he go faster? 33.4, yes he can. Donoso right behind him, and he can't beat him, 33.648. But look at all the cars are about to come across the line. Domenico Lavecce, P4 for the Red Bull. Next across the line, one of the McLarens coming across right now. That's going to be Joe Hannon across the line. He goes to 5th fastest. Behind him, here comes Simon Weigang. Can he go fastest? No, 33.670. Here comes the second Red Bull of Dario Yumulo. P8 he goes. Next up, that was Lewis Welch, who invalidated his lap. Julian Naumann goes to 9th fastest. Here comes Valentin Bruffair in the Mercedes, goes to 5th fastest. Anybody else about to come across the line? Yes, Alessio Di Capua about to come across the line. Danny Moreno goes to 6th fastest. Here comes Di Capua, gets sideways, invalidates his lap. Matteo goes to 4th, and now the rest of the field about to come across right now. Chana Kinshi next across the line, 16th, goes to 12th. And now Josh Idawu is not too far behind. Here comes Ruben Vallejo across the start-finish line. He goes to 14th fastest. Dylan Warren to 16th. Josh Idawu very sideways in the last sector, goes to 5th fastest. And lastly across the line will be Tom Martinez. But that just shows you how fast short qualifying is. Everybody's done a lap right now, and they're all on second laps right now. But it's Longuet and Donoso 1 and 2. Tom Martinez with an invalidation. So Lucas UK, Alessio Di Capua, and Tom 97 have to go again in validations.
Yeah, Lewis Welch invalidated as well, making his way through sector 1. Invalidated lap, you can now see. Oh, I see. Actually, it's the middle sector coming out of the first sector. And he's making his way through Maggots and Beckett's very soon through Chapel. But he has invalidated, so he will not be able to go quicker this time. And, of course, we're now seeing the likes of the 2 Renaults on the top end. And you are absolutely right, Jack. The 2 Renaults looking like an absolute force here today at Silverstone. As Domenico Lavecce goes into P2, a sensational lap, just over a tenth of a second behind that of Nicholas Longuet. But do expect the track to get quicker, folks, as we said before, Jack. But I have to say, Longuet's time of a 1:33.490 is an absolute mammoth of a lap. Sensational.
Yeah, it's a really great effort right there, and you can see those three. There's 5 drivers on a 33.6. It's incredibly close the whole way through this field. So that just shows you less than a tenth will gain you 5 positions from Josh Idawu up to Domenico Lavecce. That is how close this field is, and it's really something. Chanakinchi into P7 in the Alfa Romeo, pops in front of Philip Preschnader, who is out on a lap as well. He's just gone into, he was 7th, gets knocked down to 8th position. Dario Yamulo into 13th place, and Idaho to the top. The Welshman comes out of nowhere, gets a 10th on Longueuil.
Yeah, absolutely sterling stuff from the Welshman in the McLaren colours. Gets himself up on the top spot and pips the Renault of Nicolas Longueuil, who is now down in a P2, just over 1/10 of a second, just under 1.5 of a second, in fact, behind Josh Idaru, and certainly splitting that of the Renaults off the top end, and that is absolutely brilliant from Josh Idaru. He's been an absolutely charismatic talent here and represents Veloce and, of course, McLaren Esports as a development driver, and I hope one day, as I said before, that we see this man up at the top end as Donoso comes across the line, and we said he was brilliant in our earlier qualifying session, and he's done it again at 1:33.184, and I'm pretty sure that's quicker than what he did before on Inters as well, Jack.
Yeah, it was indeed. Purple he went in that one. Josh Idaru has the fastest third sector, and I think Lovece just improved again to 3rd place, and there's Louis Welch, 3rd place for Lewis. Across the line, Preschnader to 4th, and then goes Valentin Bruffaert into 5th place in that Mercedes. But again, still, Lewis Welch 33.4, Preschnader 33.4, Vasta Racer 33.4, Villavece 33.4, Longueuil 33.4. It's insane how close this is.
Yeah.
And De Capua to 3rd.
I was about to say, introducing Alessio Di Capua into the fray as well. P3 from this man, Alessio Di Capua in the Williams. Absolutely brilliant stuff. And marches his way up onto the second row of the grid. Very, very close, actually, to P2 as well. It was literally none other than 0.004 of a second that separated him and Josh Idawu. So brilliant effort from Di Capua. Finds himself towards the top end. That's for sure, as we're now also witnessing quite a few drivers out on track right now, looking to go quicker. Carl Mitchell being one of them. He's currently just over 0.8 of a second slower at this moment in time, making his way down the Hanger Straight very soon around Stowe. But he will need to set his next lap because he is invalidated at this moment in time. He will need to sort that out at some point. There is Dario Lemulo there indeed. How do you pronounce that, Jack? Do apologise. I think you do it better than me.
I believe it's Yamulo. I think he is from he's from Italy, so I'm assuming it's Yamulo. Obviously, the chat will correct us immediately if we get it wrong. So hopefully it's Yamulo. He's about to improve his lap, by the way, across the line. He goes to 11th, fastest 33.694 in the Red Bull. 11th for himself, and teammate Domenico Lovece is currently in 7th place at the moment, just 1,000th of a second in front of Longueuil. But Longueuil now, he's all the way down in 8th. Teammate Donoso up at the head of the field and has a 10th and a bit in hand over Josh Idawu. And Preschnader, he'll be thankful that he got the session restarted. He's in the top 5 right now, but he's only 6,000ths adrift of Lewis Welch and 1,000th of a second faster than Valentin Bruffaert.
Yeah, absolutely. It's getting tighter at the top end. Certainly some familiar names that we discussed prior to the start of this session, and naturally the chat was quite divisive, Jack. They did not know who to pick in this race, and that is because the deltas are just simply so close. But still, Donoso is on the top end. But don't forget this man, Simon Weigang, who of course tippled the top end as well himself. Actually toppled Donoso, I believe, on one occasion in our last session. So let's see if Weigang can do the same. Doesn't look like he's going to do it on this occasion. He is behind in sector 2 and has got a lot of work to do. But let's see where this will bring him on the actual timing tower here today, because he's currently lying in the midst, I believe, in P9, so he's got a little bit of work to do. Can he nestle himself further up this classification as he comes across the line? P5 for Simon Weigang, the German, only goes just under 0.3 of a second behind Donoso, so he's well within the mix.
6 cars in the same 10th. Thanks, Simon Weigang. 33.4, 33.4, 33.4, 33.4, 33.4, 33.4 for that top 6. From 4th all the way down to 9th is all in the same 10th of a second, and that is just insane. But that just shows you how good Donoso's lap was. He's got a 10th and a half over Josh Idawu, so that's a mega lap from Donoso, and he's out for another attempt now. 7 minutes left in this session, but literally now, if you find less than a 10th, well, actually, if Longueuil finds less than a 10th, he's going to rocket from 9th all the way up to 4th. But he has got some work to do. He needs to find that time, first of all, which is not easily done. So a lot of work left to do for the Frenchman, but still lots to happen in this qualifying session.
Well, I was just about to say, Florisphere has got himself up to P10 as well. Josh Idawu is currently out on a lap as well, albeit making his way around the early sector. Let's see what he can do, because obviously he's looking to topple Fabrizio Donoso. And I believe we are going to experience some drying on this track as we head through the last stages of qualifying. Green in Sector 1 for Josh Idawu. Currently looking like he's going to go quicker here in Sector 1, so let's see what happens. He's still got a little bit of work to do to try and trace it back on Fabrizio Donoso. His lap was absolutely hench earlier on here today. We've only got just over 6 minutes remaining, so it's going to be squeaky bum time very, very soon, folks. And we have plenty out and out laps, and Simon Weigang goes quicker again, and only 4 thousandths of a second away, Jack. Sensational stuff.
0.004, and he pulled that in Sector 2, purple Sector 2 for Simon Weigang. So, yeah, this is incredibly close. Josh Idawu, how is he getting on? He was green in that first sector, a 10th down on Donoso. So, he's got a bit of time to find, but it looks like it will be an improvement for Josh here as he comes over over towards the start-finish line right now. So looking to improve here, Josh Idawu, not improving in Sector 2, but may be able to nip a 10th here. Josh Idawu across the line. He does improve, but doesn't improve position as a 33.222, but it's 0.004 at the head of the field.
Yeah, he's not far away at all, and I have to say, very impressive indeed from Josh Idawu. He's still in the mix, and that makes it a Renault P1, a Haas P2, a McLaren P3, and a Williams in P4. Lewis Welch, of course, representing the Alfa Romeo team in P5. So you've got a string of different constructors littering that top end. There are no teammates up there. And, of course, you can imagine Lewis Welch's teammate Barry Burman would have liked to be up there as well. And usually Alpha would string together a very, very strong team indeed. Valentin Bruffair in the mix as well. He was very impressive in our early qualifying sessions, really coming out of his shell this season in PSGL. Domenico Lavecce up into P4 as well. Sensational lap, just under 1.5 tenths of a second in behind, but beats Di Capua by a minimal margin. So an excellent bit of work there by Domenico Lavecce. Again, another young driver who's actually, his persistence is impressive, and he's getting better all the time, Jack.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, he's doing an excellent job up in that fourth place, second row of the grid at the moment. 10th of a second behind Josh Idawu. That's no easy feat right there. And Preschnader, Philip Preschnader, 33.15. He's found something out of nowhere. 33.156, head of the field, and that's crucial. Hopefully he can stay there.
Yeah, he actually smacks off Donoso indeed in P2. And by the finish, the margins as well. Just look at that top four, all within a 10th of a second, Jack. Absolutely incredible. In fact, all of them in by 3/4 of a tenth, which is scintillating to think about. You look at it on paper, that is absolutely amazing. And I have to say, I would not be surprised if you see them go quicker as well. Carl Mitchell brings his time in a little bit as well. He's up in a P16. Once again, I think Racing Point have a little bit of work to do, albeit, I say this, everyone is within a second, Jack. It's incredible to say, isn't it?
Alessio Di Capua, purple Sector 1, and he's gone purple in Sector 2 as well. So, well, he's fastest in both sectors. So Alessio Di Capua is on course to topple that time of Philip Preschnader. Donoso goes 33.107, half a tenth faster than Preschnader, but Di Capua, I think, is about to topple him here round the last corner. Di Capua 32.981. He dips into the 32s, and that's a great time from the Italian. The benchmark has been laid down by him.
That is certainly the hammer that could bring an end to this qualifying session. Donoso out by over a tenth of a second. That is a sensational lap by Alessio Di Capua. And I have to say, the Italian is going to be absolutely delighted with that performance here. Puts the Williams up on P1 and indeed looks once again to be competitive after a great outing at Zandvoort last time out, garnering himself a P2 finish. Just could not quite catch Jarno Watmere as Lewis Welch notches himself up into P7. Currently Alfa Romeo P8 and 9 as Moreno dips into P6. Currently Mercedes have drivers in P6 and 10. Bruffair out on an outlap. Martinez up at the P11. Only half a tenth of a second away from Alessio Di Capua. But a sensational lap. The only man in the 132s. Absolutely brilliant, Jack.
Yeah, great job. And now we're into the last runs of qualifying right now. 2 minutes left to go. So it's all or nothing for this one at the moment. So keeping an eye on the sector times. Looks at the moment, Donoso, he's on a personal best in the middle sector, 39 269, which is very close to the Capua, but I don't think it's going to be enough unless he pulls a massive chunk in this last sector. Donoso across the line now. Does he go to the top? No, he does not. Is not able to improve, and I don't think will he have enough to go for another one. Longue into third, and that is 2 thousandths between the teammates. Does he have enough for another run? Let's wait and see, but it's going to be the last run if so.
Yeah, indeed. And don't forget Simon Weigang, who toppled them before. He is currently out on a lap as well. Let's see what Simon Weigang can do, of course, on his intermediate tyres. He's just rounding the first sector now, and very soon he'll be making his way down the Wellington Straight, leading towards Brooklands. As you can now see, the Haas driver now doing what he can. Needs to try and nestle that Haas car up in a good viable position, albeit he's in P5 right now. He's only, well, I say only, just over a tenth of a second, and that is like, well, I got to say, it's a huge amount of time in comparison. Certainly when you look at F1 racing, as Danny Moreno, within a tenth of a second, nearly topples Di Capua. Very close indeed, but the Spaniard here nestles himself in P2 on his return to competitive qualifying. Absolutely brilliant, Jack.
Yeah, I was just looking. He wasn't improving in sector number 1, and then he pulled 2 green sectors in the last 2, so he's done a very, very nice job in those ones. So excellent job from Danny Moreno. That's what we normally like to see with him. But I tell you what, the Cap was going faster again in sector 1, and I'm watching him through Magnussen Beckett. He is flinging the Williams through right there. He's such confidence in this car, and this is going to be an even quicker lap from the Italian. He's up by 100th of a second on his best time in sector 1, and he's gone purple in sector 2 again. He's going to go even faster again, but the purple sector hasn't been taken off him. Just having a look here, yes, by Floris Viers nonetheless.
Floris Viers currently fastest in Sector 1, but Di Capua fastest in Sector 2. This is key, as we now see Di Capua across the line. He goes 2/10 of a second quicker, or just over at least. So that is going to be a juggernaut of a time. 2/10 quicker than Simon Weigang. Floris Viers could not improve any further. Well, he could. He's up into P9, but could not lay a handle up on the top spot. Alessio Di Capua with a sensational time as Simon Weigang makes his way down now on the Wellington Straight, heading into what will be Brooklands, now into left field. Simon Weigang only just outside. He's well within the 10th gap here on Alessio Di Capua. You get the feeling that if Simon Weigang can nestle a purple sector in sector 2 or 3, that could be enough to topple the Italian.
Certainly could, but it's 2/10 is a lot around here, so we'll see if he's able to do that. So we'll wait and see. He's about to come through the middle sector right now. He's gone personal best in sector 1, 29.102, and we'll see what he's able to do in sector number 2 right now. It's going to be a very good lap from Simon Weigang nonetheless. He might be able to, is a tenth and a bit up in sector 2 on his best time. Keeping an eye on Simon Weigang here. This is going to be an excellent attempt from the German right now to try and topple Alessio Di Capua. There's Josh Ido into the 32s. He goes to the front row of the grid, and an excellent job from him right now with a purple final sector. But Simon Weigang looking very good here to try and nestle a result, but no, he's backed out of it, and he's now going to trundle across the line. He's going to stay in third place, but it's Alessio Di Capua on pole position here. Josh Ido next to him on the front row. And then Simon Weigang and Danny Moreno with the Renaults down in 6th and 7th. So prediction was totally wrong.
Well, how about that for a performance from Alessio Di Capua? Top spot for the Williams in a 132.818. Enough to get in P1 here in qualifying. Josh Ido at the death gets into P2 for McLaren. He's been sensational here today. Simon Weigang P3 after a great performance as well. Danny Moreno moved his Mercedes up into P4. Domenico Lavecce up into P5. Fabrizio Donoso P6. His teammate Nicolas Longue alongside him P7. Vassaracer Valentin Bruffair P8. Philip Prejneda P9. Lewis Welch P10, Floris Viers P11, Carl Mitchell P12, Tom Martinez P13, Nicholas Matteo P14, Joe Hannon P15, Ruben Vallejo in P16, Julian Naumann further down, and unfortunately we lost the rest of the timing towers, Jack, but incredible stuff here. Drama once again in qualifying, but the story is Di Capua, a sensational qualifying lap.
Yeah, over a tenth and a bit over Josh Ido, sorry, and that's not easy. That's a big gap. It's considering the qualifying that we had, and Josh Ido, I mean, that's a great effort from Josh as well. Front row of the grid, we know how good he is, and we'll see what he's able to do. But we'll have to see now what the Renaults are able to do. 6th and 7th on the grid. That's they were really putting it up to them in full qualifying, but short qualifying is a different beast, and it's all about trying to not invalidate, because the invalidation costs you a hell of a lot more in short quality than it does in full qualifying. But nice to see Danny Moreno at the head of the field right now. He's P4. Let's see what he's able to do from 4th place. We know how good he is in the wet as well. Remember that start he made in Hungary? We'll see if he's going to be able to replicate that right now. But we're going to be starting in the wet, going to the dry. But it is now going to be, I think, also the first time that we haven't seen either a Mercedes or an Alfa on the front row of the grid.
I think it is the first time indeed. So we've got 2 of the British constructors. We got a Williams and a McLaren on the top step. So that's really intriguing. And of course, not a sight that we've seen in a good number of years, Jack. I have to say, obviously, I hark back to the 90s, maybe into the 2000s. Of course, you had the era where you had Mika Hakkinen, you had Damon Hill, and of course, Heinz-Harald Frentzen, Jacques Villeneuve, David Coulthard. Lots of truly incredible drivers in the peak, or certainly the peak of their careers, and obviously the teams as well. And I have to say, it was an intriguing era in the sport. And once again, we get to relive it here at PSGL. Brilliant.
Yeah, does anyone remember the British Grand Prix where I can't remember exactly what year it was, but it was between 2014 and 2016. I can't remember exactly which one. And you remember when the 2 Mercedes were on the front row and the 2 Williams of Felipe Massa and Valtteri Bottas took the lead into turn number 1 with mega starts and led a 1-2. That I think that might have slipped some people's minds, but that is one that sticks in my memory. I think it's either 2014 or 2015, but the Williams do go well around here, so we'll see if De Capo is able to convert this into a win. Of course, he took second on his debut last time out. Let's see if he's going to be able to try and get himself a win at the championship, but he's got a very big challenger behind him, Josh Idawu, in the McLaren as well.
Yeah, I have to say, it is absolutely intriguing. We cannot wait to see what's going to happen, folks. And I do think you're absolutely right, Jack. That was, I think, a race that is etched in my memory slightly. Of course, I've been on this planet for quite a few years, so it is filled with a lot of stuff. But I think you are absolutely right. And I have to say, I want to say a massive thank you to all the fans here of PSGL for all their support here and dedication to the league as we now watch the drivers come on the outset of the formation lap. Your support has been truly, well, absolutely incredible. You deserve every bit of credit, folks. Give yourselves a huge pat on the back. We're about to see, hopefully, a true spectacle in this race. I want to say as well, a big shout out to Akos Fodi, who is currently in the chat. Hello, Akos. He is the developer of the F1 system. He's one of the developers of the HUD system. And I have to say, it's an excellent bit of kit. So do check those guys out. That's the WCP series. Be sure to check them out. As the drivers are now about to get their way onto the grid, Jack, any predictions?
No, because it'll be wrong. So I'm not going to make any prediction. Let's see what happens in this one. So De Capo and Idawu in the front row, and Moreno in 4th. Watch out for him.
Absolutely, it won't be long now, folks. We're about to get underway. First light, second light, third light, fourth light, the 5th light. And it's pedal to the metal. Go. And away at the blocks there. Alessio Di Capo in behind. Josh Idawu as well. In behind Simon Feigang. Under a little bit of pressure, as you can now see. The Red Bull coming into the fray as well. As you may have seen them streaking ahead. Alessio Di Capo streaks away. Going into sector 1. Heading around the next right-hander. A bit of a tussle between the 2 Renaults. As well as Longuet and Donoso. But as they sort themselves out here on the track. Sensational battling here as the Ferrari gets into the mix. But still, as we're now watching the coverage here, it is still all she wrote, folks. Currently lining up on top spot, still Alessio Di Capo, as we're now witnessing a Ferrari. I believe that is of Philip Presneda trying to dart around the inside there of the Haas of Floris Fiers. Is he able to capitalise here off the start? I'm not sure, wheel to wheel, but Floris Fiers gets the better of him. A sensational start to this British Grand Prix, Jack.
Yeah, there was a big smash in turn 1. Valentin Bruffaert caught up in it, dropping back to the back of the field right now. So not good for him. But Alessio Di Capo getting the start he needed. Moreno got an epic start. But again, that turn 1 just not able to get alongside and past Simon Weigang. Gave him a squeeze through there. Not much he could do. But the 2 Renaults have made up each a position. Donoso's up to 5th. Longue's up to 6th. And immediately Donoso's already on the tail of Moreno. Longue's following him. Lovecce's in there. But now we know how crucial this is for Presneda to try and gain points on Burman because he's missing. So he has to try and get past the Haas, but he runs wide. He's going to lose a spot now to the Canadian of Kyle Mitchell in the AlphaTauri. And he's now going to drop back, maybe even behind Lewis Welch, who goes for a move at him up the inside into Vale. But he will have the inside line for Club. But Lewis Welch tries to go around the outside. There's going to be contact there, but Presneda hangs onto it, but he's now in the back, and you can see it's going to get even more chaotic between them as they fight it out here. Julian Naumann trying to get involved as well, but now you can see Preschnader, he's in trouble. He's in P10, but he needs to be further up.
Yeah, he does indeed. This is a real opportunity here as we now witness again Lewis Welch battling with Nicholas Matteo as they round the next left-hander. Nicholas Matteo jumping incredible several places. Joe Hannon out of the blue there, a sensational manoeuvre, cuts in front of the pair of them. 5 places gained for Joe Hannon. Exquisite there from the McLaren driver, and a brilliant piece of racing as they round the next left-hander out to the Wellington Straight. Amazing that we're only in lap 2. The drama has been incredible. Looking for the back, still Lewis Welch tussling with Nicholas Matteo, who's looking to fight back on the Alfa Romeo of Lewis Welch in mind as well. Julian Naumann trying to fish for an opportunity himself, but as they make their way around the circuit, the tangle here between that of Julian Naumann and Nicholas Matteo as well, as they make their way around Copse Corner. Sensational stuff as Nicholas Matteo keeps him at bay.
Yeah, it certainly does. It seems that everyone's still kind of nobody's had a big smash. So everyone's still in the big trainer. Chanakinchi kind of falling off a little bit here, but it is Brufair who's caught back up to the back of the field right now. He was spinning in turn 1 last time, so he's got back up and underway very well, but breaking away a little bit now. De Capua and Idaru away from Weigang, but it is quite spread out at the moment. The Renaults are together, chasing after Danny Moreno, so it seems that Weigang is almost like the cork in the bottle a little bit here as he leads away across the start-finish line. You can see De Capua 9/10 in front of Idaru, who's 9/10 in front of Weigang, and you can see now that'll be crucial when we get to the dry conditions, because the DRS, of course, will be activated within the second margin. So it'll be now Weigang who's going to be the man in trouble. He's got Moreno, Donoso, Longue, Leveche, and all those guys all up behind him. And if DRS does become available, he will not have it.
Yeah, it's why, folks, that gaining places under these wet weather conditions are so vital, as we now ride on board with Nicholas Longue, who's just rushing down the Wellington Straight. Now I see him rushing. He's got to be very careful as well, because bear in mind, these intermediate tyres don't possess a huge amount of grip, certainly in conditions such as these. You can see his teammate Fabrizio Donoso dead ahead, just tracking Danny Moreno, who after an exquisite qualifying session managed to raise his prospects further up the grid as well, as you can now see the Renault of Nicholas Longue heading down the old paddock straight now, round this next right-hander, of course, being Copse. Now very soon to head round towards Maggots and Beckett's. Domenico Leveche having a very good race as well, just clocking every move that Longue makes. As well in behind you have Floris Viers and Carl Mitchell. All of these well within each other at this moment in time. No one has really broken away. All I will say at this moment in time, Alessio Di Capua, outside of the second mark, has managed to brush away from Josh Idaru. But I've got to say, he had a truly sensational start, Jack.
Yeah, he really did. He hooked it up, as did Idaru, but De Capua just getting the better second phase of the start. Moreno hooked up his start, managed to get up alongside Weigang, but that turn 1 is just too tight to try and make an overtake that early on, and he had to secede the position. But De Capua, he is doing nicely, but I tell you what, Idaru is going with him. You can see fastest lap for Josh Idaru that time by reeling him in by about 1/10 of a second. So Josh Idaru, he's hungry for a victory. We know he's got it in him, but he has a big task to try and get past this Italian in front of him, and Moreno in the background. He is vying to get past that Simon Weigang car.
Absolutely, and I have to say, it's going to be interesting to see how these guys get on, because of course it's going to be a very testing affair, as we're now witnessing in behind. You can see the two Renaults just tied amongst themselves right now, and obviously I'd imagine that Donoso and Longue would have fancied their chances further up the field, but don't forget, these are no mugs on their day. Certainly all these drivers possess the talent to win F1 League races, as well as F1 Esports races, Challenger Series races. They're all in this together, in this PSGL PC Championship, and it's absolutely amazing to see, that's for sure, as we now witness Josh Idaru making his way down now. Of course, Fabrizio Donoso, who is tracking Danny Moreno still, of course. Now, these two have been in their fair share of battles in the past as well, and I've got to say, Danny Moreno is no stranger to a battle himself. Who can forget that amazing performance at the Hungarian Grand Prix we had this season, where he fought his way up through the grid order, because he had those technical errors, it really did cost him his race, Jack.
Yeah, exactly. He ran around the whole race was under AI, so he couldn't even prove anything to anyone. But now he has the opportunity to show what he can do. Remember what he did here in the actual F1 Esports Championship, securing a second place around here as well. So Simon Weigang did a really nice race around here as well. But would like to point out, George, it is no longer raining.
It's not. It is, in fact, drying up here, folks, but it should be anyway. No wet weather will continue, unless, of course, he wants to trick us and land some more rainfall upon us, as we're now witnessing Danny Moreno coming around this next left-hander now. You can see the leaders. There's Alessio Di Capua, Josh Idawu there, and, of course, this very fascinating camera angle we're seeing with, of course, the house driver of Simon Weigang in P3 as well. This has been absolutely intriguing to watch. Fastest lap earned here by none other than Alessio Di Capua. So he's taken it back off Josh Idawu now. The time gap has remained, or the delta, should I say, has remained pretty constant, at least for the time being. I'm also seeing Domenico Levecce now starting to gain slightly on Nicolas Longuet, so maybe starting to find some ground under this wet weather condition. Certainly Levecce seems to have risen to the occasion here. Maybe he fancies himself as more of a wet weather driver than a dry track driver. We do start to see these preferences throughout the season, Jack.
Could well be. So now that it's drying up as well, this is where Idawu, he's got to stay now, and he knows it. He has to keep within DRS, and Di Capua just made an error coming out of Chapel right now, got on the grass, and that's given Idawu a nice little run up towards Stowe Corner. He's now pulled about 4.5 a second on him, actually, on that one little straight. So one mistake has cost Di Capua all the time he gains, and that could be crucial when the DRS enable sign comes on. With Simon Weigang now, he needs to desperately try and get in there. Longuet, is he gambling and going for the dries now?
Yeah, absolutely. It certainly seems to be the case, as we're now seeing drivers making their way into the pit lane. As Simon Weigang sets the fastest lap of the race so far. Very impressive from the Haas driver, as well as we're now seeing, indeed, Nicolas Longuet heading into the pit lane. Let's see what the team can do here. Undercut maybe on the cards here, immediately onto the dry tyres. And a very good 2.5 second stop from the Renault garage. Of course, you know that the Red Bull team tend to try and get a 2-second pit stop. That generally tends to be the mark. But Longuet away in front of the string of drivers in the pit lane at this moment in time. So let's see if this strategy pays off for him, Jack.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see. He's obviously just gambling because we haven't seen that DRS enabled sign come on yet. But he's obviously confident that it's going to switch over very quickly, or it's at a point now where the dries will work just as well as the intermediates. And I can see now that Simon Weigang, he's almost dragged himself back into DRS at Josh Idawu as well. So he's picking up some pace right now, Simon Weigang, and Di Capua is not getting away from Josh Idawu. Josh is matching him constantly, and he cannot get that gap that he wants out of Chapel. Down towards the hangar strip. But now Longuet pitting is going to trigger some movement, but I can see Longuet, look, there's just no grip at all out there on track right now. He's crawling around on those medium tires, and I think it might have been just a little bit too early for them right now. And he's losing so much time right now. You can see him through Copse Corner right now. It's just understeering straight off, so possibly a wrong call. Too early for those dries, but we're not far off.
No, absolutely. We are getting closer and closer, I'd imagine, certainly in the next couple of laps. Again, no drivers have boxed just yet, and the delta gap between Longuet and Chanakinchi is now out to over 25 seconds, so he has suffered majorly as a result there, Nicolas Longuet. It might have cost him the race here today, but they have got their banker, Renault, certainly with Fabrizio Donoso currently in P5. That'll open the door, and he won't have any concerns when it comes to stacking in the pit box. So, on one level, Renault at their midst of a struggle, but at the same time, Longuet now starting to really reel in that time gap now, so he might yet get his chance on Chanakinchi yet, Jack.
Yeah, but just in the space of that lap, he's lost 4 seconds to himself. He's actually now super slow because Vires has caught up to him. So I wonder, does Longuet actually have an actual issue with something going on there, or he's made an error, because Flores Vires is all over him right now into sector number 1, and Flores seems to be getting to grips with these dries quicker than Longuet is. Longuet must have made a mistake, or he is suffering some kind of problem, because look at Flores, he's all over him here as Preschnader gets past Kyle Mitchell, going through Maggots and Beckett's up to 7th. He goes, and Flores actually gets a penalty while trying to get past Nicolas Longuet here, but Longuet, he's struggling at this moment in the race, but I think we could be nearing that crossover point. And look at Weigang, George, he's caught up to Josh Idawu now, and in comes Di Capua. Now is the time.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Alessio Di Capua in the pit lane. So does Josh Idawu. So does Vigang. So does Moreno. Donoso as well. They're all coming in, Jack. They're all coming in. The top 6, the top 7. Lewis Welch goes through. He's going to try and leave it a lap late. So we'll have to see whether Lewis Welch can make this work for him here. Obviously, he's now rounding the home stretch now. And he will lead this Grand Prix for the time being. As they now round turn 1, heading into the first sector. And letting fly at him as well is Nicholas Matteo. But as we can now see, Alessio Di Capua in the pit lane. And Jack, we got some news.
Vigang's jumped Idawu in the pit lane. So Simon Vigang's up to second. Josh Idawu was held in the pit lane, and as well as that, Moreno's in front of Donoso. So this has gone terribly wrong for Josh Idawu. He was second, got held, and now Simon Vigang moves up to second as a result of the pit lanes. Now Lewis Welch, that he had to stay out, I think, because of the pit lane. But the DRS enable sign just came on as they came into the pit lane. So Alessio Di Capua leads with Simon Vigang now second on the road as well. And now he's going to try and keep up with Di Capua, who's pulled 2 seconds already.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, that could prove crucial in the hunt for victory in this Grand Prix. Of course, Simon Vigang now jumping that McLaren will have ramifications, that's for sure. I'd imagine the Haas driver will want to at least have a go at the top spot. Naturally, what this means is subject to pit stops. This will mean that Simon Vigang is technically net P2 on this track right now, given the fact that Lewis Welch, Nicholas Matteo, Ruben Vallejo, Iamulo, and of course, Valentin Bruffair, who have yet to pit. If they now box, as Nicholas Matteo now overtakes Lewis Welch into P1, heading round Stowe, this will mean, as you can now see them slipping and sliding all over the place, Jack, those inters do not look good on that track right now.
No, it is now dry out there, so they're going to have to pit, as well as Valentin Bruffair from 5th. So he's going to be the last guys in the inters to pit. So Alessio Di Capua will now lead this race in the Williams. Simon Vigang 2nd, Josh Idawu 3rd, Moreno in 4th now, Donoso in 5th place. But the man who's lost out hugely in this one, George, Nicholas Longuet down in 17th place.
Yeah, brutal, absolutely brutal here from Nicholas Longuet, but he's overtaken Tom Martinez, and as quite rightly, as you said, Jack, Alessio Di Capua now leads the British Grand Prix. In behind as well, Simon Vigang, who is letting fly here at Alessio Di Capua. He knows he cannot let the Italian go here. This is going to be a very intriguing affair here on this British Grand Prix circuit of Silverstone. Fastest lap nestled in by Nicholas Longuet this time. He is on a charge here, Jack, on fresher tyres, already overtaking cars that are in the pit exit now, and he now comes out in behind Dario Iamulo, and fastest lap now gained, I believe. I'm just going to get an update on that for you folks. Dylan Warren, who is on a charge now. Maybe he prefers the dry conditions, Jack.
Yeah, can confirm fastest lap, Dylan Warren down in 20th at the moment, so he still has some work to do to try and get himself further up. But crucially now, we have DRS, and it is enabled on this time, and we now are going to see whether Josh Idawu can make a move on Simon Vigang here, because they've got to try and bridge that gap up to Alessio Di Capua, who has gained 1.9 over these guys. Remember, that gap was under the second barrier heading into the pit lane, so it was a massive gain for Di Capua. Now we're going to see what's going to happen between these guys. There's going to be a DRS train activated now. Idawu's not close enough to go for it this time on Simon Vigang, but there's a DRS train from Idawu, Moreno, Donoso down to nearly Domenico Lavecchia. He's nearly in there, but he's just come out of it now under the second barrier. But this is going to be fascinating stuff, because we've got the big names of esports at the head of the field in that top 5.
Absolutely, and it's brilliant to see Alessio Di Capua leading the charge, and in behind Simon Vigang looking to do the business. Domenico Lavecchia, fastest lap of 1:28.634 in P6. He has been absolutely rapid here today, and is closing on Fabrizio Donoso, who inadvertently is closing in on Danny Moreno. And just look at this string of drivers. Moreno makes a slight mistake coming into the Wellington straight there, as you can now see in the midst. Josh Idawu, who is trying to let fly here at Simon Vigang, cannot utilise any DRS to get him by certainly the German driver in the Haas car right now. But indeed, as they round the next right-hander, about to head down the old paddock straight, still Di Capua leads, and he looks comfortable, at least for now, well over the 2-second gap. Simon Vigang, different priorities on his mind. Josh Idawu in P3 certainly looks like the main danger.
Certainly, yes, absolutely he does. But actually, Moreno looks like the fastest man in this trade at the moment, because he's the closest of anybody to the cars in front, about 2/10 separating himself. Between himself and Josh Idawu. He's flinging it through Maggots, Beckett and Chappell right now. Might have a think about going for a move right here, but Josh Idawu on the overtake just keeps himself in front with a little boost of it now. Heading down towards Stowe Corner, has a little look to the inside on Simon Vigang, but not able to get himself through. But you've got the feeling right now that Idaho and Moreno have the pace, and in order to be able to try and bridge the gap to the Capua, they've got to get past Weigang.
Yeah, they do, absolutely. And in behind as well, Fabrizio Donoso looking to do the same. Just to say, there's only one driver on the hard tyres, and that's Carl Mitchell. Nicholas Matteo opting for the soft tyre, which is intriguing. So obviously he's going to have to do another stop before the end, because those tyres will certainly not make it to the end. But that's the reason why, obviously, he does carry the fastest lap of the race so far. After just setting it there at 126.742. Very rapid indeed. But obviously those tyres will not get him to the end. Incidentally, you did see Nicholas Longue did get a time penalty before, and now Julian Naumann picks up 3 seconds too as they now round down towards the next left-hander. There you can see Josh Idawu currently lying in P3, letting fly here as Simon Weigang. In behind though, Danny Moreno in the Mercedes, trying to get close to the rear end of that McLaren, as well as the Renault of Fabrizio Donoso, who is well within the midst too. Domenico Lovecce looking to fly back on the time as well, looking to garner any bit of delta possible. And currently, given this battle, and certainly the concern that Simon Weigang's under, it has opened the door here for Di Capua to be home and host, because Weigang has got priorities on his mind right now, because Josh Idawu is getting closer and closer through Maggots and Beckett. Needs a charge here, heading into the hangar straight as they come up now, heading up towards Stowe. It's going to be Josh Idawu with the straight line speed. Weigang there with the defensive manoeuvre as they head round Stowe corner now, but the German is resilient. A sensational bit of defending as we now see Josh Idawu. He does not go for the move heading into club corner, stays stuck in behind. He remains in P3, but a sensational battle nonetheless.
Yeah, Weigang, good defense from him there. As now Danny Moreno overtake on. He has to think about going for the move on the inside of turn 1, but he's looking quick now behind Josh Idawu. Does he go for it in sector 1 here? He's very close. Josh Idawu a little bit defensive in towards turn 3 here, but there's surely going to be a move on. Idawu tried it, but Weigang very nicely defended. Little bit wide from Idawu that time. Good run from Moreno now on the exit down towards Brooklyn. A little bit of breathing space now for Simon Weigang, but Idawu on the overtake just manages to keep it in front right now. But this is getting feisty right now. But at the same time, Weigang's actually caught up to the Capua a little bit right now. But he has used up a good bit of ERS to defend that time. But he is well within his right to defend. This one, he's a net P2 on track, but Idahu's going to have to work for it.
Yeah, and absolutely. And just look at Moreno's ERS. He has got loads of it as they round Cops Corner now. Very soon to be heading around Maggots and Beckett. So there you can see Josh Idawu, who has got a very different battle on his hands. He managed to catch up with Simon Weigang slightly. And as they make their way out of Chapel Curve now, surely you can see there a little rub onto the grass there from Danny Moreno. That will cost him a little bit of time. Idawu did the same, but not to the same extent, I don't think, as he now makes his way through. Here comes Idawu. My word, that was sensational. Up into P2. Going round Stowe. It looked all too easy. He flew through the McLaren. Now heading through club corner, up into P2. A great move, Jack. I gotta say, brilliant stuff.
Yeah, Weigang didn't defend it that time. It's just the overspeed for Idawu was there for him, and now they've actually caught up a little bit now. The gap is now 1.9 to Alessio Di Capua, and these guys have got the pace. So let's see if Moreno can now make the move on Simon Weigang. Weigang down around 17-18% ERS versus Moreno's 77% ERS. So this is now going to be the crucial point. Does Weigang try to go back past Idawu? But what's going to happen now? Because actually Donoso looks like the man who could be about to make an overtake on Moreno, but no way through. But Josh Idawu is going to get the head down now, 1.8 seconds, and he is faster than the Capua at the moment.
He is indeed, and I have to say that delta time is creeping down steadily, Jack. You are absolutely spot on. We're getting well within the 2 seconds mark now, but the concern is all across the top 5. Donoso is well within a chance here, and he's been absolutely sensational, just staying in behind, just creeping his way through, watching every move these drivers make. Simon Weigang and Idawu have had their own battles. Moreno looks quick as well as they make their way around towards the hangar straight. It has been absolutely sensational. The crowd, once again, as we say, in absolute shock, because we are too, as they make their way down the hangar straight into Stowe very, very shortly. Still the McLaren in P2 of Josh Idawu. Simon Weigang in P3 for Haas. Just looking behind though, Moreno looking to do the business here as they come towards the club corner. No moves made just yet, but I get the feeling it's only a matter of time before we see these guys lay everything to chance and give it their very best efforts in securing the best positions possible, Jack. It's all to play for.
Yeah, Idawu is flying. Half a second taken out of Alessio Di Capua on that previous lap. Now, he has used up more ERS than Di Capua, but at the same time, he's trying to get himself into the DRS. And there's Nicholas Longue out of the race, pulled it into the pit lane. I've got to assume that there's some kind of hardware issue for Nicholas Longa or something going on, because he just was not on the pace at all in that one. So we still have the hopes of Renault now on the back of Fabrizio Donoso, running in 5th place at the moment. And we're on, believe it or not, we've done 14 laps of this race already. We're halfway through already, and we still have this much action going on in this one. This is the beauty of a grid this competitive. And we'll wait to see what's going to happen now. Sector 1, we have a yellow, and that's, I think, probably for the car of Donoso. Not Donoso, sorry. Of Longay, who's just in the pit lane at the moment. But again, 2/10 again, taken out by Idaho. He's almost within DRS. That's what he wants. That's what he's trying to get.
Yeah, he is indeed. We've now seen them round towards the hangar straight now. Moreno is well within the midst here. Chance here for Danny Moreno. Can he get the straight line speed? Not quite. Still Simon Weigang with the DRS on Josh Idaho. We will allow him to maintain that P3 spot, but just look at Moreno right now, and he knows he might have to break the trend in order to get into P3 here. He might have to try something very, very daring in order to try and overtake the sensational German that is Simon Weigang, who has been absolutely brilliant this season. Since his return to PSGL action, he has been absolutely incredible. And in mind as well, Donoso, certainly having one of his better races this season, has certainly struggled, has not had the luck go all his way this season, but this has been impressive by the Chilean. Great to see him at the top end as well, as we're now witnessing Simon Weigang trying to garner his way back onto Josh Idaho. This battle is sensational.
Yeah, it really is. Simon still has the pace. I think he wanted to let Idaho through to try and now get him to drag him up to the back of Alessio Di Capua. So it's all smart driving from Simon Weigang. He's able to now harvest a bit of ERS. Danny Moreno, a bit of a tank slapper out of left field that time, but he's got loads, oodles of ERS, 80% charge in that Mercedes. So he's lining up for an attack here. But Weigang, I tell you what, he's getting closer and closer to the back of Josh Idaho each time. But Idaho is agonizingly close to DRS. Does he have it? No, he won't have it this time. 1.2 seconds, but Weigang will have it on him. And he's into overtake mode right now, but he hasn't got a lot. He's got basically nothing in the tank to try and drag himself up. But Josh Idaho, he's got in DRS over Alessio Di Capua. Now the fun begins.
Yeah, the battle for P1 is on now, folks. Julian Naumann, unfortunately, out of the race. That's AlphaTauri. One-legged here with Carl Mitchell in P9, as we're now witnessing Idaho round in the club corner now. And you can see there's Di Capua in the Williams. He's had it all his own way so far, but the Delta time has come crashing down. Josh Idaho now within DRS range. In behind as well, Simon Weigang, who is in P3, trying to close the gap onto the McLaren car. In behind as well, Danny Moreno. We've got a string of drivers right through to P5. They're separated by around 3 seconds from Domenico Lavecce in P6, who's trying to fend off Nicholas Matteo. He is currently well over 1.5 seconds clear of him. So currently, the only battle we really want to witness now is that battle for first place, Jack, because it could all swing here in the dying laps, the final 10 laps of this British Grand Prix.
Yeah, 10 laps to go, 5-car fight for the win. What more could you want in the British Grand Prix here? But it's literally anyone's game at the moment right now. Any of these top 5 could take it, but Di Capua has led every single lap of the race, bar one, because of the pit stops. But Idaho and these guys, they've worked hard to close in right now, and Idaho is really looking racy right now, looking very quick. Now the question is Di Capua going to fight this? I'm sure he is, but Idaho now has a chance to save some ERS. Di Capua now, what does he do? Idaho with a good run up towards Stowe corner. He's not going to go for a move, but look at the slipstream you get. He wasn't even using any overtake right there. The DRS is so powerful around here, but Di Capua has well and truly been caught in this one. And now the top 5 going to go at it for the race victory here.
They do indeed, and don't forget Josh Idaho's ERS is looking a bit sick right now, very, very minimal, and I believe he has used most of it in the hunt for Alessio Di Capua, so now I believe he will try and obviously save some, just to make sure that he's got enough to at least lay down a challenge or lay down the hammer upon Alessio Di Capua. As we're now looking at Alessio's ERS currently, it's around about halfway through, so he has got more than Josh Idaho. He's not using anything down the Wellington Straight, as we're now seeing some moves being applied here, as Simon Weigang has a little nose down the inside of Danny Moreno. It looked like, or not Danny Moreno, sorry, Josh Idaho. Danny Moreno had a little nose as well, came out wide, and these string of 5 drivers there, they're all plugged into each other. There is nothing separating the top 5, Jack. It's all to play for lap 17 of 26. Surely we're about to see an overtake.
Yeah, but just the question is when do you go for it around here? Because that you see how powerful that DRS is. and that's why De Capo was trying so hard to break it, but he's just so good through Maggots and Beckett's here. I think if he gets the run out of Chapel, he could have a little think about it, but De Capo, what an exit out of that time now. Weigand's thinking about it on Idaho down towards Stoke Corner, but now doesn't have the ERS, but now Josh Idaho, does he go for it? Yes, inside line, but can't quite get alongside. He thought about going for the move, but had a second thought, because he was thinking, do I really want to lead ahead of De Capua and give him the DRS? He had to think about it, but Josh Idaho is really looking racy right now.
He is indeed. Just look at Danny Moreno as well, just in behind Simon Weigand. And Weigand has got to be careful here. Bad news for Dylan Warren fans. He is out of this British Grand Prix. He is out of the race. And therefore we are down to 17 because we've lost Nauman and Longuet in the drama at the front there, Jack, as they tie up. Simon Weigand colliding slightly with Josh Idaho in behind as well. You've got Danny Moreno, who is in the thick of it too. The Wellington Straight now certainly applying us with lots of dramatic action here at this British Grand Prix. And as they make their way down now, you can now see Simon Weigand still at the mercy here of Moreno, but at the mercy currently of Weigand is Josh Idaho, who just takes it away from the curb there, very nearly loses it, and Simon Weigand with a little love tap on the rear end of that McLaren very nearly sends them spinning as they now round Copse corner, and as they do so, there's Moreno down the inside of Copse, absolutely sensational, gets the move down the outside, Denoso does the same as well, absolutely brilliant, Jack Canan. I cannot believe what I've just seen, a double overtake around Copse corner, and Denoso looks venomous.
Yeah, he absolutely picked his moment there, did Moreno. Is he going to go for it now on Josh Idaho to really put the hammer home here down towards Stoke Corner? No, he's not going to do it. Oh, Denoso has a look on Moreno, but he can't quite get past here, but he gets a great run out of Stone's contact. How have they not crashed? Moreno now sideways down in the breaking zone for Vale. That was almost a humongous crash right there, but they come out of it unscathed. But now it's a cap of Idaho from Moreno from Denoso, but almost a huge accident out of Stoke Corner there.
You get the feeling that it's all come down to this. It's been building up over the last few laps. They've been in tandem for at least the last 10 laps since the pit stops. But Fabrizio Denoso has shown a venomous streak to himself. And I have to say, as we can now see a late look up there, Simon Weigand very nearly laying the hammer down upon Denoso here as they come down the Wellington Straight now. In front as well, you can see that Danny Moreno clocking every move that Idaho makes. Idaho clocking every move that De Capua makes. They're all watching each other right now. Weigand on the push, wants to lay the hammer on Denoso. It's truly been intriguing, a sensational Grand Prix, and certainly could be the best we've seen this season, Jack.
It already is in my book. This is putting a smile on my face right now as they come through Copse corner once again. De Capua still leading, but Idaho, I think, is picking his moments now in this one. Sector 2, we have a yellow for something that was just car going wide, but now the Hangar Straight, this is where the fun is. De Capua is to the inside. I think Idaho's going to go for it now towards Stoke Corner. Here comes Idaho. He's going to lead the British Grand Prix here in Silverstone. Takes the lead. No defence put up by Alessio De Capua. He's happy to follow him now. But we have a new leader. It's the Welshman Josh Idaho in the McLaren leading the British Grand Prix.
Absolutely amazing stuff. And as you can see now, Idaho gathers himself. He's in P1, but don't forget De Capua. He's a relentless one. He's currently in P2 now, ahead of Danny Moreno. Time penalty for Carl Mitchell. That's 3 seconds, another 3 seconds, should I say, applied to his time. In behind, you can see Denoso and Weigand still following these three as well. Podium's up for grabs here, folks. Certainly they're not going to leave anything lie here at PSGL, certainly here in the PC Championship, as we're now seeing them round towards the Wellington Straight. You can now see that De Capua is still lining up that man Josh Idaho. He's regained some ERS. You get the feeling that maybe he needed to recharge to give him another chance heading down the Hangar Straight, so it might have been a tactical ploy there by the Williams driver. He did not move a muscle heading into Stowe. He let Josh Idaho through, and that certainly has opened the door here for certainly for Alessio to maybe garner another charge heading in towards the end of this race.
Yeah, it was definitely tactical from Alessio. He didn't put up any defense whatsoever, but I think it's just going to be a bit of swapping and changing now throughout the rest of this race. There's not long left at all in this Grand Prix with De Capua now through Maggots and Beckett and Chapel. Does he now go for an overtake? You'd see Idaho is just gapping him now, and again, no, De Capua just saving ERS, saving his tires a little bit now. I think we're going to get maybe a lap or two of a bit of a lull in proceedings. But I think when we get closer to the last lap or two, this is going to get hectic at the front of the field for these guys. And this could really end in tears. But right now, these guys are driving brilliantly.
They are, absolutely, and you can now see Idaho leading them round, certainly turn 1 now, and making their way through Abbey Corner, Farm Curve, and now Village. And the McLaren now literally needs to be relentless. He needs a mean streak now, does Josh Idaho, because he needs to keep Alessio Di Capua in behind him as they round the next left of Aintree, heading into the Wellington Straight. And you can now see with Di Capua utilising the DRS once again, not able to gain. He's not using any overtake right now. He is recharging. He is getting set for a final few laps. It's going to be absolutely sensational, folks. Do not turn off your TV set. It's going to be absolutely brilliant. And certainly, as we come down to the last few laps, I'd imagine they're going to leave nothing to chance. I'd imagine we'll see moves from Moreno. Donoso certainly in the firing line. It looks like the Vigang might have just dropped off slightly. He is currently around 0.5 of a second away from Donoso. So Donoso really the last man in with a chance of gaining on Danny Moreno.
Yeah, Vigang's saving. I think he's up to half charge on ERS, so he's just trying to keep himself nicely in there as we now begin to go down towards Stowe Corner again. Di Capua not using any overtake at all in that Williams. Gets very close to the back of Idaho through Stowe Corner, but not going to use that ERS, that precious ERS that he needs for that attack later on in this Grand Prix. But Vigang, he's being smart now. He's backed off. He's charging up that ERS. Do not count him out. He'll be in the fight when we get to the last few laps.
Absolutely. It's literally, we're on the knife edge, folks. We're on the knife edge. We're literally waiting for the ice to break, waiting for the moves to be made here. Josh Idaho leading this Grand Prix, the British Grand Prix, his home Grand Prix, against that of the Williams of Alessio Di Capua, against Danny Moreno and also Donoso. It is a case of the battle of some of the greatest constructors we've seen in Formula One. McLaren, Williams, Mercedes, Renault, and Haas now coming into the fruition as well, with Simon Vigang, who is currently recharging his ERS, waiting to at least land a charge on Fabrizio Donoso, but he cannot separate any of these drivers right now, separated by 2 to 3 tenths across the board as they make their way down the old paddock straight now and begin to charge down towards the next right-hander. And indeed, as they do so, leaving nothing to chance as they head up towards Mackett and Beckett. You can see there Alessio Di Capua in behind Josh Idaho, waiting to see if an opening can be made, a movement for sure. Tom Martinez with the fastest lap of the race so far as they make their way down towards the hangar straight. Danny Moreno in the midst of a potential challenge. Donoso clocking also whatever that Mercedes is doing as they head up towards Stowe once again. And again, Alessio getting very close to the tail fin of that McLaren of Josh Idaho. You get the feeling that it's only a matter of time here, Jack.
He is biding his time. He could go for it if he wanted to, but he's not. So he's saving it for the last moments. 4 laps left to go here in Silverstone. No idea who's going to win this one. But as I was saying, Vigang's not out of it. He's dragged himself back in now, 52% DRS, and he's got was the second highest in this train right now. Moreno nearly has 80% charge. He's got loads to use right now, but it's now going to get feisty. 4 laps to go. And it's going to be now a case of who is going to be the bravest, who's going to go for the overtake first, who's going to break the train, and who's going to cause the problems for the drivers behind them. So Di Capua is very much biding his time right now. Idaho is trying to save ERS, but you just can't when you're out front right now. And Di Capua now up to 60% charge. I feel that because he's got plenty now. Does he go for it on this lap, try to break away? But he has to be careful because Danny Moreno will pick it up and run away with it if he manages to find a gap. Here they come through Maggett and Beckett and Chapel right now, the closest they've been all the race long right now. Di Capua flinging it right, flinging it back to the left-hand side. Idaho getting out of shape slightly through there. Di Capua gets out of shape, and Moreno says, thank you very much, I'll go for it now. Outside line for the Spaniard versus Di Capua. Is he going to go for a double overtake? Idaho to the middle of the road right now. Here comes Moreno, outside 3 wide for the lead here in Silverstone. Moreno around the outside of the both of them. Contact made, still 3 wide. Di Capua outside. Moreno, double overtake. Di Capua inside line. There's going to be contact between the both of them. Idaho back up the inside, still 3 wide as they come around the last corner. Moreno leads the British Grand Prix. What a move from the Spaniard. I've never seen that ever before in all my life. What a move.
The crowds in Silverstone go absolutely ballistic. A sensational maneuver by Danny Moreno heading in the final sector. A double overtake in the space of the final sector. Sensational Nagana's in the race lead as well. The Spaniard who has suffered technical difficulties with a sensational maneuver, and then behind Alessio Di Capua licking his wounds after that assault. In comes Idawu, does not leave anything lie, but still the McLaren is left for dead in P2. A sensational overtake by Moreno in the final sector, Jack. I've never seen anything quite like that before. The Spaniard, with all his qualities, all his potential, he's in the best car in Formula 1, and he's proven why such magic occurs in F1 esports. Amazing! I've never seen anything like that before in my life.
I'm speechless. Danny Moreno, that is the overtake of the whole series of F1. Hands down, double overtake on the outside of Cop's corner. That's craziness. As now we go back to the battle once again to Capua versus Idawu now. Is it going to settle? And here comes Donoso. Fancies a chance. They go 3 wide again for a moment, but Donoso goes wide and he loses the opportunity. And now Idawu goes around the outside again, but he gets a time penalty, and that's going to cost them a lot of positions. Idawu is now out of the fight, unfortunately, for that win, running wide at Cop's corner or Stowe corner, and now drops out of contention for that win. And that's allowing Moreno to gap them now just a little bit. Vigang up to 4th place now, but unfortunately, Idawu's ruined his chances with the 3-second penalty.
Yeah, the battling going around Stowe has cost Donoso his place as well. It's opened the door for Simon Vigang, who is now up to P4, but I cannot believe what we are seeing. We said the final laps would be chaotic. They have been simply sensational. Danny Moreno now on the, certainly the second to last lap. We're on the penultimate lap, folks. You can now see Josh Idawu in P2 after that time penalty now that has surely disrupted his chances of a potential podium finish here today. Also, Di Capua now in the mix, currently under just under 3/10 of a second off Josh Idawu now as they make their way down the old paddock straight and soon to round Cops indeed. This is absolutely amazing sights to see as we now can see Alessio Di Capua now about to round Maggots and Beckett's very, very shortly. It's going to be another tangle at the top as they make their way down towards the hanger straight. In behind you can see Donoso waiting to let fly here on Simon Vigang. Time penalty applied this time to Fabrizio Donoso, and that is going to be a major cost to his podium chances. Currently it looks like it's going to be Moreno, Di Capua and Vigang for the podium finishes.
I'm not sure, George, because that penalty could be removed, so this is still not over until it's over, and we now have 1 lap to go here in Silverstone, and Idawu is going to give it everything here. He's going to try for that victory here in Silverstone, and he has every chance of doing it here if he gets that penalty removed as they come through turn 1. Once again, Nicholas Matteo crashes out of this one and is now out of the race, but Idawu now still well within a chance of trying to take a victory in Silverstone, and this could still be anyone's game. But Danny Moreno out in the lead. There's so many problems throughout this championship, and is now at the head of the field. But Idawu now, he's going to line him up and try to take one over on him down the hanger straight. He's already thinking about the hanger straight, I guarantee it, as we now keep an eye on proceedings behind. It's Danny Moreno from Josh Idawu, from Alessio Di Capua, from Simon Vigang, from Donoso in 5th place at the moment, down towards Cop's corner. Moreno opens the gap out to half a second as they come through Cop's corner now. Vigang on for a podium as well. He's trying to get himself in front of Alessio Di Capua through Maggots and Beckett and Chapel for the last time. Sector 1 yellow flag, but that's not going to affect them at all. Through Chapel they come for the last time. Moreno's going to use up every ounce of overtake he's got left as they come down towards Stowe corner. But can Vigang get himself on the podium here as they head into Cop's corner? He's going to think about a move here. Does he go for it? No, he's not close enough. Through Stowe corner they come for the last time, and it's going to be the Spaniard. What an incredible race we have had here in Silverstone. It's Danny Moreno who wins the British Grand Prix here in Silverstone. It's going to be provisionally Josh Idawu in 2nd, and Alessio Di Capua will be 3rd, and that is going to be results pending stewards' investigations, but on track. According to the game, it's Di Capua and Vigang, but I'm sure Idawu will get that penalty removed. But Danny Moreno is a winner in PSGL.
Yeah, I've got to say, absolutely intriguing. Danny Moreno, amazing stuff. P1 after a sensational overtake in the final few laps, and he absolutely deserves it without question. He was the bravest. He was the boldest. He is the machine. He is Danny Moreno. A victory here at Silverstone after all the difficulties he sustained this season. He's come out on top. Mercedes have got a tick in the box, and Moreno has done the business. A sensational race. And I've got to say, tremendous style to do it in as well. Di Capua, we're currently seeing on our timing screens P2. But I have to say, we will obviously get confirmation at some point, I'd imagine, after the stewards have investigated the certain... certainly the moves that were made during that race, and obviously the penalties. But amazing. I would like to thank everybody for all the support. That was certainly a phenomenal race. And Danny Moreno, I've got to say, a tremendous performance. Without question, Jack, deserves that P1 finish.
Yep, has pulled off the greatest overtake I've ever seen. That's a 3 wide through Stowe, and still managed to get a double overtake somehow through the last corner. Just phenomenal. Picked his moments beautifully, and drove basically the perfect race. And what can you say about that? PSGL has delivered once again, never fails to. But Danny Moreno fully deserves that win. Great to see him at the top after all the problems he had. And we certainly got a race worthy of the PSGL title. And I mean, we had the server issues earlier on, and we certainly got delivered after that. So here's your official rundown of results then. It's Danny Moreno ahead of Alessio De Capua and Simon Weigang. Josh Idawu with a 3-second penalty could get that removed, so he may get that second place. Donoso 5th. Preschnader did get across the line for 6th, gains valuable points. Domenico Lavecce in 7th. Ruben Vallejo in 8th. And how about Dario Yamulo, 19th up to 9th, so gets himself into the points. And Lewis Welch in 10th. Chana Kinshi, Valentin Brufair, Kyle Mitchell, Joe Hannon, Flores Vyers, and Tom Knight 7, and then non-finishers, of course, Nicholas Mateo, Dylan Warren, Julian Naumann, and Nicholas Longe.
Well, folks, I cannot believe it. I cannot believe it. I'm sweating on my brow. I cannot believe what we've just seen, folks. Absolute magic you've witnessed tonight at Britain. And, we commentate races, Jack, week in, week out. We think we know what to expect, but it has us fooled every single time. And once again, our mouths were left open and truly bemused at the sight that we saw. We just witnessed magic, didn't we?
Was magic, absolutely magic. That is why we do league racing, for races like that. That is just phenomenal. I mean, yeah, I think that'll be a memory that'll be etched in for a long, long time. Alessio De Capua, Josh Idawu, Danny Moreno, 3 wide through Stowe corner, keeping it 3 wide all the way through to the last corner. Moreno going around the outside of the both of them and somehow holding on and not crashing. That was just phenomenal driving from them all, really. And they absolutely should take a bow, and they deserve their results today. So wait to see what happens in the stewards' rooms afterwards, of course. But I'm hoping that we might get Danny in for an interview, because we want to hear his thoughts after that.
Absolutely, and I cannot wait to bring them in for the conversations. There's one man I can imagine who's very ecstatic with what happened in the end of that race, but absolutely insane. Definitely, probably the race of the season. I think we've just seen the overtake of the season. I just cannot believe it. I mean, we thought that after the series of races we had lots of drama, certainly around the likes of. Just throughout the calendar, we've had certainly special moments occur across the season. We come here to Silverstone, and once again, our minds have been totally blown wide open. I cannot believe it, folks. I'm at a loss as to words for that one, and I just cannot believe it. And obviously, there's a lot of drivers who I have to say who are very, very humble in the chat right now. They're literally saying, "What a race!" And I think this is the moment where you sort of put, obviously rivalries to bed, and you appreciate what you see on track. That race will be rewatched through, I'd imagine through the rest of this year. I mean, I'm certainly going to rewatch it, because I cannot believe what we just seen. I don't think, Jack, we had the time to digest what happened in those final few laps.
No, absolutely not. And that's what we love. We just had no time to think. That's the beauty of these races. You don't get time to think, and just wonderful. So for those of you who want to watch that overtake again, lap 23. So just get that timestamp in lap 23, and never forget what happened there. That's just phenomenal. I've just rewatched it again, and I still can't believe. I don't know how Danny Moreno did that, or how they didn't crash. Just unbelievable driving, and yeah, like you said, rivalries being put to bed, and just appreciating just how good that racing was, because they didn't take each other out. They kept it clean. They left each other racing room. They raced hard, but they raced fair, and they're all smiling afterwards, which is exactly what we want to see.
Well, they know that they've taken part in an absolute classic, without a doubt. I mean, that will go down in the annals of PSGL as one of the best races we've ever seen. And I personally think that when you've got drivers of that quality, and you've got the certainly the tenacity, the battling, the absolute grit, determination shown throughout all of these guys who literally want to lay everything on the track, and that is what they did today. They left everything on the track at Silverstone, did not leave any question marks at all, and that is what we want to see. We want to see the best of these guys, the best of these drivers that compete in esports and challenges, and that's the great thing about it. Half of those guys were challengers, some of them were F1 esports drivers. You had Alessio Di Capo, who's been racing in challenges. You had the likes of Donoso, who's been in F1 esports for such a long time. He's an experienced, despite being a young man, very experienced in the series. Danny Moreno, who is now partnering Jarno Opmeer in the Mercedes team for the season to come. And then, of course, you got Simon Weigang, again, a stalwart of F1 esports at Haas, and obviously where his future is, we're not quite certain, but absolutely sensational stuff. I hope all you guys enjoyed it in the chat. We are hoping to get some interviews, but I just want to say a massive thank you for all the support we had tonight. Thank you to everybody for their comments in the chat and the comments of support and well-wishing. I sure hope you enjoyed that as a broadcast, because I certainly did enjoy bringing it to you. I'm sure Jack did as well. And if you could leave a like and a subscribe as well in response, I think we deserve it. I think, Jack.
Well, considering Steam broke and we got that, I think we deserve it. After that, and yeah, after credit to the organisers as well for thinking quick on their feet what to do. That's not a nice issue for Steam to go down. I mean, that's about as bad as you can get, and we'll hopefully not have that again. Just a shame. Imagine if we had Barry Burman and Jarno Opmeer in the middle of that as well.
Oh, wowee. I mean, that would have been something special. I mean, I have to say that's two major drivers. I've got to say, it opens, again, a lot of question marks as to where the championship could go this year, because, of course, Danny Moreno certainly seems to be showing a bit more of a mean streak, maybe a little bit more of a sharp edge to himself, because that was certainly a fiery performance there from the Spaniard. Not something we've seen recently from him, certainly not to that extent. So is it a case that we can expect more from Danny Moreno this season? Because he has been absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, he's going to be ruining the lost points. He had so many chances, but the technical faults and not having his rig ready has cost him a lot of potential points that he could have had. But I mean, he's certainly a contender. I mean, you've just seen that race. I mean, he's outdone himself somehow with the wet start in Hungary. I thought nobody could get better than making 5 positions up on lap 1. How about going around the outside of 2 cars in Stowe? that's a one-upmanship that I love to see from drivers. But Danny Moreno is absolutely a contender. But Philip Preschneider had a very quiet race today, finished 6th, but that will be points gained for him in the championship at least, versus Jarno and versus Barry. So still a good day for Philip Preschneider, even if he wasn't up at the front battling it out, but he still managed to get good points.
Yeah, certainly. An improved performance from Philip Preschneider obviously has given him a chance again at firing back at Barry Burman, of course. And once again, the championship is still up for grabs, folks. There's still lots of names that can contest for that title. Please obviously leave your comments for Driver of the Day as well. We're very keen to hear that. I get the feeling there's only going to be one winner, given the fact that the move that man made. Jack, without question, I'm going to say it. Danny Moreno, my Driver of the Day.
Oh, that's not even a question. Yeah, that's Danny Moreno, Driver of the Day. Yeah, that's absolutely deserving for that move as well. Josh Ido is definitely a contender for that as well. Drove really, really well. Just came up short. So Josh Ido and Danny Moreno, very, very close. But I got to give it to Danny for how patient he was and just picking the overtakes beautifully, and pulling off that overtake as well is not easy. So yeah, definitely up there as well. And yeah, Dario Imulo as well. Really good job from him. He started from the back row of the grid and he got himself into the points, which is not easily done. So fair play to Dario as well.
Yeah, no, he deserves a lot of credit. And I got to say, I was really impressed with Valentin Bruffair in qualifying as well. I have to say, he was absolutely brilliant. We didn't see too much of him during the race, but then, of course, we were pretty much distracted throughout with the intense battle going on for the lead, which was, I got to say, absolutely amazing. Do you get the feeling that Alessio Di Capo might be kicking himself slightly, that he had the race in the palm of his hands, and throughout the course of the race, it just sort of slipped out of his fingers?
I think he will be disappointed, yeah, but he still should be happy. He led most of that race, but I think that might be just a little bit of inexperience coming in right there. I mean, he is in the Challenger Series, but the F1 Esports guys definitely use their experience to their advantage there. Danny Moreno using it very, very well, but Di Capo fought really, really well. not to take that away from him. He still qualified on pole, nearly took it to the victory, but I think he will be disappointed. But he still managed to get himself a podium, so you should be still pretty happy with it.
Absolutely. Well, I got to say, folks, it doesn't look like we're going to have interviews today, but I have to say it has been a truly tremendous race here. That's for sure. And I got to say, I have to say, I'm not often gobsmacked at the end of a Grand Prix. I mean, I've had many experiences of commentating league racing in my time, but I have to say that was the best, without question. And I've got to give credit to all the drivers for all their efforts and their abilities out there tonight. They all deserve a huge round of applause, a huge pat on the back for giving us that real just onslaught of battling towards the end of that British Grand Prix. It'll certainly live long in my memory. I'm sure it'll live long in yours as well. And that is why I want you, like I said before, leave a like and a subscribe as well. And make sure that you stay tuned for more PSGL PC Championship going forward in the future too. Obviously, it's a pleasure for me and Jack Kinnan to bring you the commentary every week on a Thursday night, obviously subject to the Challenger Series. If you want to check me and Jack out as well, you can come and join us on Twitter. We are on there. I'm at CRGGO, and you can access Jack at JackCComs, Jack. Can't they? So obviously you can get in touch with us as well if you wish to, and stay, well, I suppose, clued in as to what we're up to, and of course what the league is up to as well. So without any further ado, folks, it's been an absolute pleasure. Like I said, leave a like and subscribe. I'll see you again very soon. We'll see you next week for yet more racing here at PSGL PC Championship. Do take care of yourselves. Goodbye.